Mi scusi, like and subscribe, Paisan. Slap that like button's ass.
Like and subscribe, bro.
Thursday Night Live. We're back at it. I'm going to check in. Very excited about tonight's show. Very excited. Craps Master Journey is on. Let me get to the chat right now and at least get this in before I bring in the man. Parsons Bootlegger. Nice to see us. Just saw you in Biloxi. Fuzzy. Yes, let's go. Sweet Lou. Proverbs 16:33. Hondo 12. Oh, dude, it is a Packers Vikings night, Thursday night. I guess I've been looking forward to this one. Hopefully everyone can hear this and nothing's messed up. Let me get to these banners here. Real Pain, of course, Real Pain. Dice Grinders, nice. T-Bone. Mad Hatter. Shooting for Aces, nice, man. G-Dub. Jamie. Nah, the Plow is here. Oh, nice, man. Great, guys. This is going to be a good one. Who else is in here? Wisco. BRB, Two Seam, the Crap Stock. The Crap Stock. I just mailed you something today. All right, bringing in our guest for tonight. Well, you know what? Right before I do this, I want to thank all of the Patreon subscribers. Thank you so much. Appreciate the support. I was back out of town, had a little scheduling issues with the podcast, but just a little, cleaning house here. We've got the lives are going every other Thursday. Just to clarify this, the podcast is coming out as much as I can every week. So we've got part 2 and part 3 of Dice Coach Dials In. That's going to be for the next 2 weeks. And if I can do free versions, I will do some. It really just comes down to time and life and priorities, and Patreon subscribers. They're the ones. They're the ones. Thank you very much. Huggy Bear. I'm going to bring in my nemesis. Here we go.
Go Green Bay.
Nice. Craps Master Journey. Craps Master Journey. Dude. Yep. I was going to wear the hat, but I don't know if you know what? I've been doing a deep dive in the Craps Master Journey YouTube page. And dude, I got to tell you, man, I'm very excited about this. Is the first time you and I have talked right this second.
Correct.
Yep. And in many ways, it's funny because somehow, football is just, you know how it is. So Packers, Vikings, by the way, the first game of the season is Vikings Packers. It is.
It will be Packers and Jordan Love against who knows who's quarterbacking for Minnesota. I don't know. It might be, there's I follow all the camp stuff and it's probably going to be Kyler Murray. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. The expectations for the Viking Packers game, it's very low this year. So we'll be pleasantly surprised. It's always competitive. It does not matter which way it goes. I mean, no matter how good or how bad they are, they're always competitive against each other.
Well, yeah, but you guys in Green Bay have been absolutely blessed. Like for the past, 50 years, you've gone from Hall of Fame quarterback to Hall of Fame quarterback to Hall of Fame quarterback,
years.
And now
maybe 25 years.
You had Starr, Favre, and then Rodgers, and
yes.
And now who knows? I don't know if I don't know about Jordan Love. We'll see.
It's in the air, but this should be his breakout year. So,
but listen, man, we got a little. Speaking of, I've got ETG made a little. I gotta find it here. Here we go. For you, for the show. It's short and sweet.
This guy double check.
Yep. Little discount double check.
I don't even know. I don't even own a cheddar head.
Oh, you don't?
No, man.
Okay,
Not at all.
how close do you live? Well, where in Wisconsin are you?
I'm about 35, 40 minutes south of Green Bay. So
yeah,
my house, so my house is basically 3 blocks away from Lake Michigan. So,
oh, that's really cool, though. I mean, do you go to a lot of? Do you go to Lambeau then often?
I drive past Lambeau almost every time you go to Green Bay. You kind of drive past it all the time, so I see it all the time. You know, several times a year. But the last time I was to a game was probably 10, 15 years ago.
Oh, really?
So, yeah, it's a cool experience. It's really worth going to see, but it's not the same as sitting at home on your couch relaxing and you know, freeze your ass off or stay, you know, warm and have a couple cocktails and some food and
yeah. I get it too. I mean, I just kind of like the freedom of watching a football game at home, because then you can do all this other stuff while you're, you know, you can.
Plus, I mean, tickets are a commodity. I mean, they're not overly expensive compared to other stadiums, but they are a commodity. They're very hard to get. And a few years ago, they switched the ticket rules where, let's say I'm a season ticket holder and I give my tickets to somebody else or sell them somebody else for just the game. And if that person messes up, my season tickets are taken away forever. So, I mean, there's a waiting list. I mean, for like 35, 40 years, if I signed up today, it'd take almost 40 years to get season tickets.
Yeah, that's intense. That's intense.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
That's that's a special place. I've never been to Lambeau Field, but it would probably be cool to be if I was, you know, to have that as my stadium.
Yeah, it's actually more fun to go see the stadium and the history, and they have the Hall of Fame inside the building there. They have really nice restaurants and that.
But
it's always more excited to see that than it is to go see a game there. It really is. Yeah,
but dude, I got to tell you, and I'm sorry that we're talking football right now to everyone, but you don't understand. Vikings Packers, it's a thing. It is a thing.
Not as much as Packers Bears, but it is.
Yeah, but for Viking fans, I think for Viking fans, like you're the rival. You're the rival. It's always been Packers Bears. That's like the big one between you guys. But for us, it's really kind of Packers Vikings, that rivalry. But Favre coming to the Vikings in 2009 was absolutely amazing. That was one of the best seasons ever to be a Viking fan. And then you end up liking Favre, and you end up hating him before, and now we like him. And then with Rodgers, I just kind of like Rodgers now that he's not on the Packers. I really like him.
Yeah. I had mixed feelings at the end with Rodgers.
I guess that's what happens, though, you know, when it goes south. Yeah. But Craftsmaster Journey, listen, man, this is about you. This is about. No, dude, Ed will tell you. Ed's the only guy I call by Ed by his own name. Everyone else, I'm like, you know, Jobless Degen, Mad Hatter, Moonshine, Holy Roller, right? It's I guess I know people and I have people in my phone. It's just, it literally is Craps and all capitals and then dash and then it's handle. And it just goes on for pages. And there's times that I don't know people's real name, which is funny.
See, I'm part of your list now, and that's how I did it. I did their name and then Craps at the end, so I know who the hell it is, you know.
Yeah, I do it in the beginning, so that it's just tons. Okay, so I've been watching a lot. First of all, let's do a little introduction so that people know, but you've got a lot of people that you are already very well known within the community. So
thank you.
I want to, how long have you been on YouTube? And I mean, you, by the way, for everyone watching, you sent me a very great outline, almost better than the one I was actually writing. I ended up, you know, it was great. I mean, this is great. It's so great. I printed it out because it's so I'm like, man, Craftsmaster Journey has got his shit together. He is dialed in like a pro, very prepared for this interview. Of really, a lot of it's going to be like, I love meeting people in the community and then hopefully connecting people that haven't, you know, that might not, that are close to your area or wherever you go play. You know, I think it's just great. So right, so you came onto the scene. Let's just talk a little history
Okay.
so we can start there. Okay. And then we'll get to the present. But you started, correct me if I'm wrong, in the early 2020s or before that? Was it after COVID?
No, I started mid-COVID. How I really started is I went to Dubuque one time. That's where my wife was from. She lives there, or used to live there. And I used to play slots with her all the time, and I ran out of money and she was still playing. So I was just kind of twiddling my thumbs and watching, and there's a craps table here at one of the casinos in Dubuque, and there's like 3 or 4 people playing. I was just curious because I knew nothing about craps. So I was, and I still am the type of person that when I dig my hands into things, I just study the living shit out of it. And then usually I just drop it and I move to the next subject. Well, this kind of stuck. So I went and researched it, learned how to play, and part of my wanting to research everything is I wanted to learn how to shoot the dice, how to make the bets on the table, all that type of stuff. So I thought, what the hell, I'll try building a table. It's COVID, you can't go anywhere. So, so I started researching, how to build a table, and there was only like 1 or 2 sites that actually had a paid plans. No one else had any information on it at the time.
But Craps Master Journey, listen, was it after like immediate, when you say it stuck, did you go a couple times or did you just immediately fall in love with it? Because there's something about this game that I think we all can relate to somehow. To me, it's like a virus, man. It gets in your brain and it just stays there. I mean, it never leaves you.
It at the time, it was like everything else in my life. I would always grasp something and then just, really dig into it. And then I just like throw it aside, but this stuck, and I think it stuck because of the investment in the table. And I said, okay, now I did the video series with the table because no one else had anything like that out there. Now what, and I just started growing into the craps, niche, I mean, just like you said, it kind of grew onto me, and I'm even past that right now. The craps thing is only a side thing for me right now. Me, it's building the business, it's the YouTubing, it's the sharing information, it's the community that we're involved in, because like you said, there are so many great people in this community, and a lot of people I talk to through the chats and that, I never met them in person, but when I meet them in person, it's like, holy shit, it's like my long lost friend, I mean, you just walk up, handshake, hugs, whatever, and you can just start talking to them just like that,
Yeah, dude, that's what's really cool. I didn't expect that, but then you end up going, I'm like, oh, who can I call? Sometimes, I was a random person. I need to talk to someone. Let me call, Moonshine, or so-and-so. Sure. And you meet a lot of great people through, playing dice. And, it's fantastic. So as far as though, when you started, you mentioned something, was it all about, well, speaking of Moonshine, here's a comment. He said, and I'm going to go back and forth with just comments. So
that's fine.
Just get used to it. Yeah, you get it.
I've watched your show plenty of times here.
It's all over the place, right? Evening. CMJ had a great series on how he made his table, showed some craftsmanship making it. So of this table, which you just started talking about, did you just start making a table before you really knew how to play?
Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. I'm kind of one of those fake it. I'm kind of one of those fake it till you make it things. I didn't know how in the hell to build a table, so I researched it for probably a month and a half, 2 months before I started building it. And then as I was building it, I was still kind of winging it. Okay, how can I do this? How can I do that? And it actually turned out pretty decent. And then I got done at the table, and now what? Let's learn strategy, So I was John. I don't know if John's here from Casino Gaming TV is in the chat yet, but early on in my YouTube career, somebody called me out on not knowing crap about craps, and they were not wrong. And they're like, "You call yourself, a master?" And I'm like, "No, dude. Check the title. It's Craps Master Journey." This is a journey for me because I don't know everything about craps. I really don't. I don't know everything about dice shooting. I know a lot about the things, but not everything. There's a lot more people out there that are more knowledgeable than I am.
Well, dude, so that's what I love. So I don't know. I think we sent a text a long time, well, kind of a long time ago, but I had seen your early videos and I thought they were great.
Sure.
I sent you a random PayPal or that you had to
saw that. Yeah, I saw that.
Probably didn't know who it was from.
No, I didn't know until like a year later. Also,
yeah, and I
thank
talked
you, by the way.
Yeah, you're welcome. I talked to John from ProCraps. He's actually in the car for 2.5 hours. I was like, dude, your name's probably going to get mentioned on tonight's show because I know. So, let me just say something to Joe. You're after watching all your videos, you're a really great ambassador to the game.
Thank you.
Your enthusiasm. I feel like you just want to make other people better while you're going along on this journey, which I thought was really cool because even watching some of your, some of your shorts that you had, like 13 ways that you could, improve like life for the shooter, which is how nice that you are actually talking about what other people can do for the shooter, which
that's some old stuff you're digging up there.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I kind of did the deep dive, but it's funny because I like number 7, which was give the shooter room. And I'm notorious for wanting room. I actually don't even like anyone next to me when I'm shooting. I like that much room when I'm shooting. And I'm like, dude, I love this guy because not a lot of people are talking about that. I don't know if I can really, or if anyone can say, hey, how often do you hear anyone say, give the shooter room? I mean, yeah, I know.
I always ask for it. I always ask for it because I'm a bigger person. I'm probably twice the size you are easily. And they don't call me Big Joe for no reason. But, I take up at least 2 spots at the table when I'm shooting. I'm elbows out and all that stuff. But I purposely say, hey, dude, people next to me, I will step back when you're shooting if you'll do the same thing for me. So I ask them to step away from the table a couple steps so I have the room to spread out. So,
yeah. And sorry, I just diverted things, but getting back to so you built your table and you have this series on building your table. And by the way, I saw some of your woodworking stuff, which is cool. That table that you made for Craps for the Cure that we were talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, that was pretty sweet. So
it was a one of a kind. I was like, I wanted to build something that no one would ever know was a craps table, but it could flip into one, and then the chairs are convertible. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was very go gadget. Go gadget craps table. Okay, comment from Mr. Paul Roberts. CMJ Joe, thanks for the great video series on your table build. Your videos gave me the confidence to build my table. It's the best investment in my craps game I've made. Shout out to Jeff, Mid-Atlantic Craps, Ripper. Let's see. Huggy Bear needs stick right one. Yes, I do. And what up 10 ton and CMJ? I think that's Yo Chef.
That's the sheesh. Yeah, Yo Chef. Yeah.
All right.
Yo Chef.
So after you built your table, did you start give me a little of the evolution of how the journey started there. The Crafts Master journey started with the table build, but it's evolved into so much more. Where did it go right after that? Were you like, hey, I want to learn how to play this game. I'm going to teach myself how to play this game. Because obviously shooting is where you're, correct me if I'm wrong, but I mean,
right now, my MO is shooting the dice or setting the dice and shoot the dice. Yeah. When I built the table, like I said, there was nobody else that had anything like that. So I thought, I'm going to build it. I might as well share it. I knew nothing about YouTube prior to, so that was even a deep dive there, to learn how to do the videos and edit and all that stuff. But once I got out the 10 video series for building a table, I thought, okay, now what? So I wanted to learn the game. I just started looking up other people's channels and copying their strategies, basically. In fact, I did it was like a 30 or 60 day series where I put out a video every single day of a different strategy. And I rolled the strategy out exactly like that creator did. And it's funny because I get so many comments, hey, dude, you can do this with that strategy. I'm like, no, you missed the whole purpose of that video was to roll it out exactly like they described it. And they got 100% credit and all that stuff. So that was my next set of series. Then after that,
you've been incredibly prolific. I mean, it's astounding how, dedicated you are to your live show and to everything that you do. So, and as far as people in the comments, I was actually reading a lot of those comments on the stuff that you were, because I was watching a lot of those, and the comments specifically when you were rolling out strategies from other creators back then. Who were the creators that you, let's say, possibly might have been?
Okay, when I started, there was a group of about 4 of us that started about the same time. John from Casino Game TV was one of them. Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps and myself all started within a month from each other. And then shortly after, Brian from Holy Roller joined in also. So the 4 of us have been around pretty much for almost 6 years now. And at that time, that was at the end of the Jacob was starting to fizzle down from Wagery This. He's coming back now again. And there was a couple, people from his group of people that were starting to fizzle out while we were starting to come in. 36 Full Press is another one of them. So it was basically John, Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps, Brian from Holy Roller, myself that started about the same time. And we did not know each other at the time either. So.
And you described your table in an email as like, when you first started, as like a fake it till you, or your channel is fake it till you make it.
Oh yeah, big time. It still is.
I don't know. I don't know about that. That's being pretty humble, man.
Oh, thanks. I'm the type of person that I have goals. I have aspirations. I know what I want, and I'm just going to keep on doing it until I get it. So I started a table build. I wanted to build a table. Well, I kind of winged it until it turned out the way it needed to turn out, the strategy videos. I presented it as if I was in the know. I knew what I was doing, but I really didn't know what the hell I was doing. And then that one guy called me out. And the reason I brought that one story up is because John from Pro Craps actually saw that. It was a Facebook comment one time. Some guy was kind of ripping on me. And I just fired back, dude, it's a journey, John pulled it out on one of his shows. He starts to laugh and he goes, that was like the best comeback. But, in all reality, in the beginning, I was just trying to find my way. I was trying to find my niche. I was trying to find what I was going to be good at. And I really didn't have a direction for the channel. And then Alfredo from Texas Crap Shooters actually made a comment. And I don't think at the time he even realized it, but somebody was ripping on me to Alfredo. And I don't know who it was or whatever. And Alfredo's comment was, dude, Joe is sharing his journey. That's all he said. And just like that, my identity clicked, my purpose clicked, my everything clicked. And ever since that day, it's about transparency. I mean, I'm not the best craps player. I'm not perfect. I'm learning along the way. If somebody has ways to make my style, my blue collar craps style better, I'm open ears. But you need to be able to prove to me why you think it's better.
Dude,
why
your
suggestion is going to work.
Dude, I like that about you, that you said transparency. I think that's the key for me, for any sort of, why I feel like a lot of the YouTubers that not necessarily in this craps community, but more of the gambling influencers, the ones that are just more so the business model is clicks versus education. Yeah. To me, there isn't, that sort of transparency isn't it. You never know. Like, no, they're not transparent. It's really just mostly about wins. I've tried to be transparent about and open about losses and when I get my ass kicked, all of that stuff. I think that's important. I think a lot of people maybe are afraid to do that, but I think it's great. And it only helps build build the credibility. I think credibility takes a long time to build. It does.
Especially if you're a dice shooter, it takes a long time. How many failures and wins have I shown over the last how many years throwing a dice? I have over almost 900 episodes of live shooting the dice.
God,
900
dude,
hours.
What the hell?
900 hours of shooting the dice in front of people. how much more credibility you need there, you know?
I don't know. I mean, that's a lot, man. That is an insane amount. Globe CMJ was one of the first channels I followed upon beginning my own journey into craps. Great stuff. Keep it up. Lazy
Thank
Dog.
you.
Shout out Lazy Dog. Thumbs up, everyone. And then from Yo Kevin, Kentucky. Is this Yo Kev? This is Yo Kev. Hey, y'all.
Yo
It's
Kevin
Yo
is
Kev.
hilarious. I loved his episode. He was funny.
He is very funny, man. Vikings and Packers chatting it up. Love. As a Lions fan, no trash hog, just excited to enjoy the best division in the game. He has a point. It is the best division in football right now. All strong. Now that the Bears have a new coach. I mean, it is that division is a tough division. And yes, but the Seahawks won. That is true. That is true. All right. So you mentioned Alfredo. And you mentioned Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Craps. And you mentioned John from Pro Craps, old Pro Craps. And so what did you get from each one of these? I mean, were they necessarily influenced? Did Jeff, was he helpful in the technical aspects? Because I know that you're running a very complex setup with, right? Like with, is it OBS or?
Yeah, I use OBS and I use a Stream Deck so I can switch screens, you know, and all that type of stuff. This is Jeff's contribution to my show. He actually donated this to me. It's pretty cool.
Oh, nice, man.
You can program that. Yeah, it was a really nice present he sent to me. Jeff's contribution to me was moral support. He helped me occasionally with the technical stuff, but most of it I figured out on my own. He did help me pick up my current computer that I'm using to do the live stream, though, so he knows a little bit more about that type of stuff than I do.
Sweet.
John's contribution, he doesn't realize it, or maybe he does, I don't know. He did a series on craps, you know, the ABCs, I mean, everything you could possibly imagine, and that's what helped me develop the blue collar craps style of play. You know, it's nothing new, you know, like every strategy everybody else knows. It's just how I assemble it. It's how I play. It's the discipline that's behind it, you know, that type of stuff. So John was a huge contributor to that. Alfredo from Texas Trap Shooters. And I want to say Uncle Mel, who I've never met from Hawaii. Never met him. I don't even know if he knows who I am, but Alfredo and Uncle Mel bet very similar. So they had some influence in how you can regress your bets and get out of the shooter faster. Even Ed Robinson, you know, from watching his earlier videos on watching him how to shoot the dice.
Man.
You know, you got George from CY from Cyprus, one of the best, most technical dice shooters there are that's out there in the entire world. You know, every one of these people have shared something, you know, through their videos, through their interactions with others, and I just soak that stuff up.
Hey Joe, isn't that great though, how you can, all of these varied, you know, influences, how you can pick up a little piece here, a little piece there. I think if people have that open mind of like, I feel like you can't just necessarily, hey, this guy isn't for me, but maybe there's always a little piece that maybe you can get. I'm constantly doing that when I talk to Bo and Ed all the time. Oh, like even on our last conversation.
That's two great resources right there though, you know,
so real pain, man, with a handle. I remember Joe had a rig set up to measure the angle that the dice should come into the back wall. I built one and could never get it right. Then we've got Fuzzy. Joe is a genuine gentleman. I met him at the first craps meetup in Chicago I went to, and I've had a great friend ever since. That's cool, man. He's gonna. I think
you've met Fuzzy, right?
Yeah.
Fuzzy is this retired biker, if you will. He's a farmer, real rough and tough looking guy. One of the first times I went up to him, he gave me a hug. Sweetest guy around, super nice guy, and he's not afraid to bet either. He's a good bettor.
No, man, I remember I had my 6 at, like, I don't know what my 6 was at. It was in the 2000, it was north of 2000 on a roll of his. When I was like, just one more hit. I should just one more hit, please, Fuzzy. Roll to win. Ed Robinson. Let's not forget that Bart Starr was a Bama player, far though southern Mississippi. That's true, man.
They moved up to the north where it's much better.
I know. And then Ripper, you're right. I always forget. Like and subscribe, peeps. That's true.
Yes.
I forget. I'm very bad at that, but I'm going to try growing this channel this year.
You're up to 800 people I saw, so that's good. 2 more 100 people. We need 200 people here so you can start getting some your $1 checks each month.
Oh, nice. Nice. It reminds me of, that'll match my 20-something years in the music industry royalty checks. Perfect.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. So Craftsmaster Journey, I'm going to add a couple pics of your spot, man, to the stage so people can see what we're talking about, dude. Look at this setup, dude. It is like, it's pretty intense what you have going on. Cameras, egg cartons, green screen, switchers, dice, chips. That's pretty sweet, dude.
Thank you.
I mean, this is a solid setup, and you built this table.
Yeah, I built the table. Everything that you see in there, I built except for the layout. And
like
the chips,
you
obviously.
built the chip racks. Did you build those
chip racks? Yes.
Oh man, dude, that is some serious woodworking skills. I like this. Where is this? In the basement?
Yeah, it's this room that's in my basement. It's just a shitty ass room that I wasn't using, so it fits perfect for this.
Yeah, that's a thing up north. You know, we have basements up there. Let's see.
So this is my craft studio. You know, this is my YouTube studio. So I was doing a different channel for a while too, and I'd still come down here shoot all my videos for that channel as well. So,
man, this is dude, this is a pretty sweet.
So those lights, here's an example. Those lights. That's a bed sheet, an umbrella, and some spray paint with a spotlight stuck in the middle of it. That's how it is.
Oh, nice, man. Yeah, this is looking cool, and this is definitely giving me basement. I like are those eggshells? Like egg cartons up there?
Yeah, I everything's blue collar about me. So I made everything because I honestly can't afford shit. I really can't. So I wanted to do soundproofing on here. So I thought egg cartons, and they actually work pretty good. So I either have egg cartons or I have foam foam bedding on my walls.
Yeah, and then you know what? I'm going to get to this. Hey, the Plow hope to meet everyone in Chicago, Chi-Town, Wisconsin area sometime soon. Plow's great, man. We just saw him in Biloxi. So definitely, hopefully people can connect. Easy E is here. And then Low Budget is here. Awesome. BRB, where can I get info on how to set up camera setups and how to coordinate all the different camera angles? BRB, I would probably ask Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Crafts or Craftsmaster Journey right here, because you must honestly be an expert at this point.
My cameras, I use 4 cell phones and my camera that's on my laptop. So I was running 5 cameras at that time, but them are all cell phones that I'm using right now. So it's my main cell phone and 3 other ones that people donated to me. So
man, yeah, those phones are great. So Camper,
yeah, they are.
Shout out Camper from KC, finally catching the live show. Better late than never, dude. Chow from Hawaii. Lazy Dog says, so Joe built a craps table, then thought a house would be nice above it as protection. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is great, man. Evan Cruz. I made my table after watching Craftsmaster Journey. Right. That's nice, cool. Man. Hey, so listen, I thought that you could use possibly some I want to suggest something to you for your craps pit. Okay. So I'm thinking, like, this is what I'm thinking for this year. Maybe mix it up a bit and you could, sort of change up your background.
You're funny.
Right? Right? Yeah, we could just, just
do that. Good about that is Skull, Skull Tobacco. Come on now.
We could do that, or then there's also we could do that, which I think would be great. That's like the only improvement. There's another one. We got Randy Moss famously mooning at Lambeau Field. We can always put that in there.
He did a magic marker in the end zone also one time.
Yeah, dude. I think I do think though you should seriously consider something like this. for the new, when you need a change.
I'll sleep on it tonight and I'll use it in the bathroom tomorrow. How's that?
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. ETG though. I put him on that little job.
That's
and he
funny.
did. Good job, man. All right. So
that is awesome.
So, okay. So after the people that influence you, so obviously Mel, Alfredo, where did you go like after that? Because dude, your videos you've got tons and tons. I mean, you are as prolific as John from Pro Craps. You guys are like probably the two most prolific YouTube craps content creators there are.
So is Big AZ as well. So
Big AZ. That's true. He's got a ton of them. George from CY has got a ton of them. So that's I would say us too. 5. Yeah. But yeah. And they're all kind of in their own lane. But you're doing both. Not only are you live, but you've got a lot of I don't know how I could I used to do a lot of edited videos before I did the lives. And what I was doing is I was trying to put out 1 to 2 videos a week, and I was spending up to 30, 40 hours a week just filming and editing. And I'm like, this is ridiculous. And I was getting paid like literally $100 a month to do that. So I thought, let's try the live thing. And I did the live thing now for about 1.5 years, 2 years, going on 3 years actually. And I cut my time invested in YouTubing from 30, 40 hours a week down to about 15 hours a week. So I cut it in half easily. But now I'm in the process of going slightly back in the other direction. So I'm going to be doing my lives every single day during the week, but I'm also going to be putting on an edited video once every 2 to 3 weeks. So it's hopefully going to be a lot higher quality video. And I'm not going to be like on a scheduled timeline. So when I'm comfortable putting it out, I'm going to put it out when I'm happy with it, but not until then. So, dude, did you ever ask yourself why? Why am I doing this? Why am I spending 30 hours a week or doing all of this stuff? What was compelling you to do this? Because it's not financial. It's never financial. It's so difficult to generate any money. And I don't know about YouTube, okay? Because I'm in another zone. I'm not really. This is the extent of YouTube for me. So again, transparency is key for me. Why do I do it? Something some people know about me, a lot of people don't, is I actually have Tourette's. And one of the side effects of Tourette's is obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD. So I dig my hands into something and I just keep on going on and on because I got to stay busy doing stuff. So why do I do this? I do the craps as intently as I do because I wanted first to learn. B, I wanted to help other people. C, it keeps me out of the casinos. I mean, doing this stuff, I can get my craps fixed in my own basement. I don't have to go spend money to do it somewhere. Yeah, that's a silver lining. The friendships that I made, it was huge. But as a side effect, what happened is the business side of things now. So I spent this whole time, and again, transparency is key. I have almost 5,000 subscribers. My YouTube checks is $140 a month. That's it. Man, big money, dude. So you can start planning your retirement. Right. But I'm looking out there at all these different people, and certain people in this community or even other communities have figured a way to monetize it. And that's what I was trying to do, is try to figure that out. And I think I finally did. I'm starting a side business here with the Blue Collar Crap stuff, So I'm going to continue doing everything that I'm doing up to this point. I'm going to still keep on doing the lives. I'm going to do the edited videos, that type of stuff. But then I also came up with a tracker. I'm going to be coming up with a video series on shooting a dice. All these extra things will be on the side, and that'll be the business side of things. That's nice. Yeah. Monetize it. Yeah. Diversifying and little revenue streams. And we're going to get to all that. Shout out to Brian, Hawaii Crap Shooters. Awesome to see you here. Brian. You mentioned, and with all transparency, I'm going to bring it up. How can I not? Yeah. So you mentioned, interesting, and thanks for sharing, that you have Tourette's. But so correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to ask some dumb questions about Tourette's. Isn't Tourette's normally you're associating it with like either tics or swearing all the time? I've never like that, right?
Tourette's can be different for everybody. Mine are more tics. I have little things in the corner of my mouth or anywhere where skin touches skin. So like my elbow, my shoulder. So you'll see me doing this a little bit, every so often.
Just shaking it out, like you're shaking it out, right?
It gets worse the more tired I am or the more nervous I am. For example, if I'm walking down, if I'm walking down a hallway, I always have to tap the back of my fingers on things like the wall or the railing or, stuff like that. And most people that don't know I have it don't see it. But if you know I have it, you see it all the time.
I would actually never know it. But now is a side effect of that the OCD? Because I almost like I'm very OCD, but not officially OCD, but I might as well be. Yeah. I mean, just I'm
very OCD, and it's not always the most enjoyable to be around. Ask my family.
Well, I mean, it's obviously you've put it to good use, whatever these are. I mean, as far as how you've applied it into your channel. And the consistency, I mean, maybe the consistency is an offshoot of that OCD and being able to complete things and keeping it going. I mean, that could be very interesting. Thanks for sharing that, man. I mean, that's cool. And by the way, Craftsmaster Journey, I love the beard facial hair action.
I just started growing it again.
I mean, I was like,
I had this years ago. I remember, I used to work in the concert industry also. I used to do private security for bands when they'd come into the Green Bay area and that. And I remember seeing a roadie one time that was bald and he had his beard and it wrapped around his ears. Yeah. And I've always wanted to do that, but it can't grow thick enough up there.
Man, yeah, that is like the reverse handlebar or something. I don't know what that is. Yeah, but that's cool. It looks really good, man, because that was a new. I'm like, wait a second, you mix it up. Decided after these years, I'm like, okay, I'm going for it. That's cool, man. It's a good look.
Thank you.
All right, so your first video series, then you've pretty much really focused on shooting. Obviously, you love shooting.
I do, yes.
I mean, to the point that is it every day that you're doing a live?
Well, here's where the transparency comes in also. Everybody asks how often I practice. Every single practice I've done has been on camera. I do not practice off the camera. So what you see in my videos is what I do. And if you can actually say that I do more is the actual preparation for, so studying the dice. I have a job that I can actually do some stuff on the side and here I'm at work, studying the dice. Okay, if it rolls this way, what does that mean? All that stuff. So I did all that stuff off camera and I have hundreds and thousands of hours doing that type of stuff, but actual practicing, shooting the dice and everything has been on camera 100%.
Man, your journey is documented, dude.
It is.
Has that? How often? Okay, so my next question obviously would be: you practice so much and you get so much practice in. Has that? How often are you going to play craps in a real casino? And I mean, obviously that must have translated.
I used to go a couple times a month.
And your home casino is what?
Is Green Bay, but I don't go there anymore because I do not like the table that they have right now, and they only have one table there. So I have not gone there. The next closest is Milwaukee, which is about an hour and 20-minute drive, and that one is a $25 table, which is too rich for me. So I mean, I'm a low ball player at the current moment because of the bankroll and everything. Plus they have the extra drive. So.
In Milwaukee, they just have a $25 table. I mean, they don't have any lower limits.
It depends. It depends on when you're playing. If you're playing during the day when I cannot get there, they have a $15 table. But then at night and on weekends, and Wisco goes there quite a bit. Wisco 330.
Have you guys ever met up?
Here. Oh, several times. I met Ben in Milwaukee once, and then I've also met him in Chicago a couple times.
Sweet.
But then at night and on weekends, they'll turn it into a $25 table. And if it gets busy, they jump it up to $50. And
that's rough. I think
I think they have Milwaukee has like 3 or 4 tables, but Green Bay only has one table.
that's tough. You are at the mercy, and that's why I'm so absolutely blessed to be. Well, that's why I moved here, and just coming back from Biloxi, dude. It was like that's an issue when you're used to playing certain tables and getting your way. Like I'm spoiled with how
I would love that. I would. Yeah.
Yeah. And
but, so, to get back to your question, about, the shooting and that, when I was going to the casino a lot, I thought I was a good shooter, but I really, really was not. I really have not come into decent shooting, in my opinion, until the last few months, really, where I've really gotten the groove. I really know what I'm looking for, what I'm feeling, what I'm seeing, how my energy levels are, all those things have finally come to mesh together within just, I would say, the last 6 months or less. And it's amazing how, I have all these hours of practice, and I thought I knew what I was doing, but it really did not start gelling until just recently.
Dude, that is not surprising. I think it takes a long time, almost sometimes years, for stuff to just suddenly gel and click together, and then things become smaller, or it's like, that's I learned even playing bass, or it was like years after when I'm like, God, this is just your practice. All of a sudden, you finally hit this other level. You don't know how you hit it, but you jump up from whatever plateau you are.
Well, I know how I hit it, but
how?
How did I hit it? I would pick small little things each episode, and I would just work on it. And if I didn't get it that episode, I would work on it until I would start feeling comfortable. And then I would work on another area, the next couple episodes. And then I would find out, I got to go back to the other one again. And, and finally just going back and forth and picking small little things, everything from, gripping the dice. I have 2 different grips that I normally use. One of my problems is my fat fingers. I got some big ass fingers, and I hang off the edges of the dice quite a bit, dude,
I got to send you some dice, dude. I got to send you some Casino Tears dice. I wish I had purple and yellow to send you.
I would love to have some.
I'm going to send you some, dice. Dude. Oh, you got some, dude. Dude, you got some. I'll send you some more, man.
This is actually another gift from Jeff from Mid-Atlantic Crafts.
Oh, dude, nice, man.
Yes.
Shout out Mid-Atlantic Crafts.
I'll definitely accept some Casino Tears dice.
Yeah, I'll send you, because they're the bigger ones, which
But these are, that's all I use. I have some of the smaller ones here as well, but I don't use them because the majority of the places that I do play use the bigger dice.
Yeah, I can't stand the small.
I don't even practice with the small ones, even though I have several pairs here.
So as far as shooting goes, like you mentioned, Ed, George from CY, were like, who were the guys that were sort of influenced you, or that you got the most from shooting? I'm assuming those two, just if I had to make a blind assumption.
Honestly, with Ed, and I know Ed's here in the chat, I don't think Ed liked me at first. I really don't.
Dude, let me stop you there. I don't know. I ask that question every week from week to week if Ed even likes me at this point. Okay?
The reason I say that is because early in my journey,
he likes it.
The reason he does now, I know that, but early in my journey, I didn't know shit, and I was trying to figure it out. I really was, and I was reinventing the wheel. So I was coming up with my own terminology. I was coming up with my own way of doing different things, just by watching people like Ed on a channel. Things like I used to do the back swing. Now I go from the deck straight forward, and that's an Ed addition. That I used, and that's why I say Ed was influential in the throws and that. But it was to the point where there were certain guardians or watchdogs in the community, and every time I put a video out, they would run to John or Ed immediately. And it got to the point where I actually had to do a couple follow-up live videos, like the next hour, or literally the next hour, saying, "Hey, this is what I meant by that," And I think that's what added some creed to me with Ed and with John and the crew, saying, "Hey guys, I'm learning this, this is what my intention is. I'm not trying to steer people in the wrong direction. I'm learning this as I go." And I've met Ed once, and that was this last year at the Crafts for the Cure. Great guy. I've talked to him several times in the green room, the green screen room. You know, and that's what, and then he comments on my Facebook comments all the time, or Facebook posts all the time. So I know he likes me now, but there was a time, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you have
I think that's common.
Okay, you have added influential. George from CY really helped with understanding that dice sets come in different dice set families, and he got me pointed in the direction. He didn't really show me how, because his way of doing things, in my opinion, is very, very complex. And I'm a more simple guy, so I had to simplify things. I had to make it so that I can make those decisions on the fly when I'm doing the show, when I'm in a casino. And that's how I put together the Blue Collar Craps system, is to make it so simple so anybody can learn it, you know. So George from CY was very influential in that aspect. Alfredo was very influential in the biggest thing that I learned from him is I actually met him the first time in Chicago, and I was stick left 2, he was stick left 1, and he was shooting a dice, and you could see the gears turning, and all of a sudden he just started turning, and he said, "Joe, did you see that quarter turn to the dice? If I turn it this way, I can get this number, you know, this set, this, you know, whatever." I'm like, holy shit, this guy's doing this in real life, you know? So that was my first time ever seeing anybody in real life in a real casino do stuff like that. And all those things, you know, just, again, a little bits here, a little bits there, you know, just putting it together into my own thing. One of my, I'm good at seeing the big picture and analyzing things. My micro details, that's something that takes time, you know, something that it takes me a very long time to put together, but I can see the big picture and take little bits here and little bits there and then put it all together. And that's exactly what I did. So I was not formally trained by anybody. I trained myself, you know, just basically watching real life people, watching some of the YouTubers that actually know what they're doing, because not everybody knows what they're doing, you know, and just practice. That's all it was. Just practice. And I was good at putting together programs, you know, the table build. I did my black belt series. You know, I was into martial arts for quite a while, for almost 10 years.
Did you play sports when you were younger? I mean,
I played baseball for a while. I played football, but I got injured. My freshman year, I blew my knee out really bad, and then I went back up my junior and senior year. In college, I wrestled for about a month, and I realized I was not good enough. I got my ass kicked all the time.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. So, and then after I graduated college, I got really heavy into the martial arts. So.
Oh, nice. I bet that's lend itself into maybe your somewhat calm, peaceful demeanor of just training.
Yeah, probably.
Odds fellow put his comment up earlier. Said practice makes perfect. Practice until you can't do it wrong. EFSU, grip is always key to your evening. Sal, what's the beginner dice set? And what's the beginner's dice set? And you've got a link. I need to put up a link. Hey, ETG, we need to put a link in the chat, because you've got.
I could show you really quick what it looks like.
Show it, dude. And how do you combat a bouncy table? Just I want to get that comment up there.
Just a real quick. This is the Blue Collar Craps thing that we have. That actually, if you guys do click in that link, it'll give you. It's nothing super complex. It's just real basic stuff. It tells you about the dice, things that you should be looking for. Then it goes through my basic dice sets that I use in my program. So I use 5-4, 5-4, 5-4, 2-3, 5-4, 5-3. 3-2, 3-6, 3-2, or 3-6, 3-2. There's 5 different basic dice sets that I use. So
yeah, I was trying to get that up there.
Yeah, not a problem.
So we're gonna put a link to that in the chat, and
that's free. Just so you know, if you guys do click on the link to get this free thing, there's an area you can put money in. Put $0 if you don't want to put anything in. If you want to donate to the channel, that's awesome too. I'll accept it, but put 0 in. If you don't want to pay anything, put 0. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah, you know what? Why don't they just put $1 in there? Put $10 in there. Why not, dude?
It doesn't. It really doesn't matter to me, because it's
billion hours of work. I know, but still, you know what? I mean, I tell you what, Craftmaster Journey. After the amount of time that I put into this, into just doing this, it is an ungodly amount of time. And that's why I had to just even cut down, because you have no personal life, zero, none.
I don't.
You work full time and then you're doing all this. So yeah, anything helps. And it's not like anyone's. Go ahead.
I work 50 hours a week, literally. And then I do 20 to 30 hours a week of YouTubing stuff. So I working all the time. I really
got to sleep and have some semblance of a personal life, or
I don't know what either one of those two things are.
So anything helps. It's just helping offset the cost. It's not even about like racking in and stacking up fucking money. It's not. It's so far removed from that. I think it's there's only a few people making money, and that's going to be your gambling influencers. That's it. So there's I don't know.
Up to them. I'm not going to push it at all. If they wanted to go 0, that's fine by me. Well, if they want to put some money in, I will gladly accept it. But it's not all about the money. That document is not. Really
I know. But that's nice of you. But we ETG put that in the chat so people can click on that link and check it all out. I know we're jumping ahead of this, but like since it does say blue collar craps, so are you now sort of is the Craftsmaster journey? Is that you're sort of branching out into a new sort of blue collar craps? What is that?
Okay, what it is I went through all these different series, that we kind of talked about before, and then we went into all the lies and that, and I reached a point where I felt like I had nothing else to give. So I needed a new thing to think about, I guess. And it was kind of funny because John, again, had mentioned something about something, and I jumped on it immediately. I'm like, I like blue collar craps. I'm going to use that. And I used it the next day, and he's like, damn it, I was going to use it, So what I did is Craftsmaster Journey is the public face. It's the name of the channel. It's who I am. Blue Collar Crafts is the branding that I'm going with. It's the style of play that I do. It's the way, that you can bet, that you can shoot the dice. I'm all about getting in with whatever we can, making profit and getting out of that shooter as fast as possible, hopefully within 2 to 3 rolls of the dice, and then play with profit. And it doesn't matter if you're playing a low bankroll like I am. I'll walk into a casino with, a local casino, $300 to $500 is my buy-in. Okay, if I'm going to Vegas, I'll be doing a $500 to $1,000 buy-in. That's my buy-in. It's pretty low key. I'm like totally opposite of what you probably are.
But I'm on an extreme, dude. I think you're right in the zone of a lot of people. I feel like that.
Probably. Probably, but here's the key: is that with the blue collar craps, even though I term it blue collar craps, it's a style of play. You could be a low bankroll player, or you could be a high bankroll player, and you could do the same exact thing as what I do. It's just that your initial layout is different, and then your regression point to what you regress to is going to be different. But it's the same concept. Everything relays. Does not matter how much money you have out there. So that's kind of what blue collar craps is.
So, okay, let me try to summarize it then. So blue collar craps is basically, you've really kind of branded or named how you play, your strategy to the game.
My strategy, my betting, my shooting, my discipline that I use, or try to use at times. It's your mindset, it's everything encompassed really into one big ball, really. That's all it is.
It's a full, it's a full circle of, it's everything. It's an all around sort of strategy, mindset, every approach to the game. And it's going to involve, obviously it has to involve certain systems as far as betting goes, but it's an overall, like how you're branding your strategy, how you play, or it's what I've done. This is how I play. I view the game this way. I think it's important. I think some people might really like it. And there's probably going to be a lot of people that really like what you're putting out there. So that's awesome that you're doing it, because I was checking it out this morning and I was watching you, and maybe you can, I don't know if you can show it on your screen, but I have a lot of questions. Your blue collar craps, what you're what you're
Is
going
this what you're
through,
talking about?
yes, what you're going through in the morning when you're doing your live roll.
Yeah.
I thought it was very interesting how you were incorporating betting options into that.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was very
we have a roll log in here, so I can input the dice set. I can put what we rolled, any notes you want to do, and then once I do a roll, I have a betting coach incorporated in here. So it'll tell you, how to bet the blue collar craps style of betting.
Okay, I want to ask you about that. I want to ask you about that betting coach. So, and did you design this whole thing?
The program, yes.
Oh, that's impressive.
After doing my show for a couple of years now, I have refined my style of betting, and it's evolved immensely over the years, and it's still evolving, and it will keep on evolving. But I condensed everything that I do and how I, put my initial bets out there. What I always press the first hit, so whatever I make, I always put back on the table on top of what I had there. Okay. After the second hit, I regress to profit. Does not matter if it's $10 or if it's $1,000. I will regress to either profit or somewhere below profit, so I can get all that money back in the rack. And that way I'm playing the profits from there. And then from there, I'll do different pressing, either trend betting or different strategies or whatever. It doesn't matter. And that's kind of up to whoever and whatever they want to do there. But, I have certain ways that I do it. So that's how my betting goes.
So your betting coach then, is it then just a bunch of options, or would it be the option that you would?
Let's do this really quick here. Let's go in. Let's just put in $1,500 for a bankroll. Man,
that's impressive that you wrote this.
Yeah, it took me almost 1 full year to do this.
I bet.
Let's say we do a 5-5 hard 10, enter the roll in. And now what happens is, since the point is 10, it'll give me a suggestion what my bets should be based off of what bankroll I'm bringing to the table. Okay.
Oh man, I wish I could show this
click apply.
Screen, yeah.
Yeah, I can click apply recommendation, and then it pops over to the left side there, and it tells you what your active bets are. And then if I roll, let's say I roll 4, it'll show what I won on that, and then it'll give me my extra or my next recommendation. So with that profit, I can, place the 6, 8, and 5 for $5-6 or whatever. I click apply, it jumps over there again. And then on my second roll, let's say we roll 6, it's going to show my regression now. So I got my profits. It's going to regress me. So I'm playing with profits now. So I'll apply that, and everything goes down to whatever my profits show.
Man, I'm sorry. See, in Crash Master Journey, I was trying to full screen this, and I screwed up, dude. I screwed up. I don't know what the hell I'm doing sometimes, dude.
Click on the link in the description. It'll get you over to this too.
Yeah. Yes. I just distracted everything.
Yeah, but anyhow, the betting coach will show you exactly the blue collar crap style of betting, the way that I do things. Now, on the bottom, and you're going to have some input on this one, okay? Because I got called up by Mad Hatter the last couple of days. I always call it the dice coach.
Okay, I'm just going to leave this like this. I'm going to remove myself from this so you can see it. ETG, I'm going to just do it that way.
Okay. I'm going to have you input on this, Tenton, because I have been calling this the dice coach. That's the betting coach up here. This is the dice coach down here. And I've been getting called out by Mad Hatter because Bo Parker is what? He's the dice coach, right? I can't hear you at all. So you have to go back, put your screen back on.
Okay. Now can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
So what's your input? Should I keep on using dice coach?
You could just put his face there.
Yeah, I should. He probably would let me do that too. But anyhow, that's that. I mean, that's just a real quick overview of what that dice tracker program is. So it took me like a year to program and code it. But here's the bad thing about it is right now it's in Excel only. Down the road, I do want to make it a web-based program.
Yeah, that'd be sweet.
Something else. But at the current moment, my knowledge only extended to Excel programming. So, I mean, you open it up, it is an Excel program, but you have no clue it's even Excel because of how I have it set up. It looks just like a regular app.
So Crab's Master Journey, I just want to apologize for my inept. I'm a rookie when it comes to a lot of this stuff. Like last time we were on, I wanted to share this video with Big AZ, and it had no sound. Well,
I remember
in that time of not being able to do that, we figured it out. Yeah,
awesome.
Now I can actually do stuff with videos. But now here's a new thing, which now I'll go back with ETG, and then we'll do it, and then I'll be able to be like.
So when I set up with ETG today, he said I'm the only one that could flip screens in you. So
yeah, I know that's nice that you've got that whole setup going. So I apologize to the viewers that were trying to watch this, but to mess around with what you've done, that's on that link, right? When they click on that link.
Well, that link there is the dice set guide. I think the last page of that talks about this tracker program. I actually have 4 different levels. And it's all blue collar terms.
How do they get it though?
There's a link at the end of that packet that'll show you. And the lowest one is the prospector one, which is a free program. Again, it's going to give you the option to pay for it. Put 0 in, please.
No,
and then the next level,
put 1 and a couple zeros in, please.
That's for later up.
Okay.
So the prospector actually is free, but it's pretty generic program. It's a single shooter program. So that way you can enter your dice rolls in. You can do some basic betting. I don't even have the complex betting on there. I'm going to bring this up again really quick.
Do it.
On the green hand, which is the next level up, it's $9.99. You actually have all the bets available. And I realized the other day I never put hop bets in here, but I have every other bet in there that you need other than hop bets.
Yeah.
You know, I even have the hard way all day on there.
Oh, nice.
Which is kind of cool. So that's a green hand one. And the green hand, the thing that's special about that is it allows you to put your dice set in and all that stuff and all the bets. But it's a multi-session thing. So you can actually, record it and save all your different sessions and all that stuff. The third level is the apprentice level, and that has the dice coach in there, and it also has the betting coach in there. But the unique thing with that is the apprentice level is where you actually start learning about dice set families and how to set the dice and how to make decisions on what set to be using next according to what you're seeing from your dice results. And that's assuming that when you throw the dice, everything is you use the same mechanics, everything is similar. And then the last program here is the one I was showing you is the Journeyman. That includes everything. And that's more of your advanced rhythm rolling type techniques that are incorporated into that.
Crab's Master Journey, you have been busy. You have been busy this past year. That's impressive, man.
Off camera, Off camera, I've been really busy.
Let's let me get to dice grinders. Joe was disciplined in sticking to his strategy, not making moolah on the long rolls when I met him. Hopefully, your journey opened your eyes so you capitalize on the long rolls.
So here's where he's coming from. I'll tell you the story on that. We were down in Chicago. This is probably about 1.5 years, 2 years ago, and this is during one of Big AZ's tours through Chicagoland area. And myself and Chris from Demon Dog Dice, I think you've met Chris. We were down on our bankroll. So what happened was Big AZ went on this huge flipping roll using this TST, his top secret toss. Basically sets the all 7, just chucks them to the other end of the table. And I'm not lying. This roll was probably 40 some long, easily solid. 40 rolls long.
That's approaching monster.
And it was definitely monster. And I got about 25, 30 rolls in, and I took my money down. And Arnell was like, "What the hell are you doing?" And I said, "Dude, I was down. I got my money back. I have a couple extra bucks, above where I started. I'm happy. I'm fine with that, And Chris, Demon Dog Chris, was hilarious because he's making fun of me, but he did the same exact thing, but nobody saw it.
I don't know Demon Dog Chris.
Oh, I thought you met him. He's another guy from Chicago, from that Chicago crew. Super nice guy. He is one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. Him and Fuzzy, they're all like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, Demon Dog Chris, Demon Dog Dice is his handle. He has actually his own channel. He used to do some videos. Great guy.
ATX Vegas fan. I'm going to get to some of these Craps Master Journey. What's up, everyone? Good to see you. 1010. Keep pushing and helping promote the game of Craps. You and Ed are doing the Lord's work. Amen. ATX. Camper sounds like his system. I think that whole thing is his. It's more than a system. It's a strategy. And overall approach. That's what I would say Blue Collar Craps is. Blue Collar Scrabble, every dollar counts. That's from EFSU. Lazy Dog. Plus Joe, Blue Collar is a journey of a single bankroll. Yeah. Basic, I buy in on and over days, make a win or loss as a player. He suggests copyright that now. Jobless Degen. Hi, Jobless, your name came up in a convo the other day. 10-Ton wasn't impressed when he heard the hard ways all day bet was in there. Dude, I don't know if you know the story, but I came up with that.
I actually know more of a story than you actually know about that. So because there's somebody else that's claiming that, but I'm not going to get into that right now. But there's somebody else that's claiming that they came up with it also besides you.
Oh.
Other than the person that actually rolled it out.
Yeah, well, the person that rolled it out, though, and there might have been other people with the same idea. I'm sure people invented. There were multiple like cavemen that were like carving a wheel.
There was one person. There was one person that talked to me about it. Again, I'm not going to use names at all, but they had the payouts. They had everything all set, and they were in the process, I believe, of trying to get it out onto the tables and that.
Yeah. So. You know what? I think you might know the same people because I remember I commented on that on something in a comment. I was like, too late. That's what I said in the comment. I'm like, too late. That's already well down the road as far as payouts. But that guy definitely right here at this table was shown, and he definitely took it. So I'm a little salty when I see that bet, but it's okay. I've kind of gotten over it.
I've personally never ever seen it. I actually had to research to figure out what the payouts are and how to even put it into the program.
I got the payouts emailed to me right from him when we were doing it. So he's a fucking dickhead. Okay, he is a dickhead, Mr. Repeater. Okay, back. Let's see. Backroom Royal Club. I don't know. Give me a 30-40 roller and I'm making 20 racks. You must be betting big if you're making 20 racks, man. I'd like to see that. That'd be good.
It all depends on the quality of the 30-40 roller, though, because if I'm throwing out craps numbers, you better be betting craps numbers.
I know. But that's good. Justice Jen. Yeah, I told them to file a patent. Told them to file a patent as soon as APAP. It was too late. No, Justice Jen, I should have emailed that guy, by the way, on what we talked about. That was my big mistake. That was my big mistake. I should have emailed John and said,
to get a record.
We talked about this. You came up to my place so I could show you this hard way bet. And that was my mistake. So let's see. Crapless brother, he shout Backroom Royal Club. Okay, yeah, you have me, Crapless. Okay, I'd like to see that. You can make a lot of money at Crapless. Let's see, it's Fuzzy. I think 10-Ton is getting Tourette's now. I've always had Tourette's. Okay, I just don't. It's just and OCD. I mean, all of the above. So that's probably why I really like this guy because Craps Master Journey, you have done it like all your videos. You're very selfless in your videos, and I do like the fact that you're really trying to improve the game for other people. Like give them the whole. That's the quality that I hope people pick up on that. That you're just trying to make everyone better, and I'm glad that you're now stepping out into. Hey, here's my strategy. Here's my approach.
Thank you.
Right?
I don't know.
Hey, man, you deserve it after this. Anything back, it just helps you keep going. You know what I mean? Because it is pretty thankless. Ain't no reason to play back to Backroom Royal Club. Ain't no reason to play on a traditional table if you're not going to play dark side. Crapless for the win. I agree. All right. Where are we now on our agenda, Craftsmaster Journey?
You got the paper, man. I don't even have it.
I was expecting you to know.
I could pull it up if you need me to, but I don't
got it because I got a billion questions.
Ask away. I'm open book. I ask whatever. If I don't want to answer it, I won't answer it.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Bone Tracker, because you've done a lot, and I feel like you've done it in like a different way as far as how you've been tracking and analyzing your dice. Well, have you used Bone Tracker? And
I have, and I actually have some videos that I've done in the past with Bone Tracker in my early days, recommending Bone Tracker because it is a great program. It really is. My program is a lot different to Bone Tracker, and you really have to get into it to see what the differences are. But Bone Tracker is an awesome program. It really is. Here's one benefit with my program that Bone Tracker does not have is that you can use multiple dice sets with my program. Bone Tracker, you can do it only with one dice set. You record those. I think Ed calls it blocks of rolls. He does his blocks, or his books. I'm sorry, books is what he calls them.
Yeah.
So I mean, again, Bone Tracker has been out there for a long time. It's an awesome program. I highly recommend it. Mine is different. That's all I can say. It's way different. There's nothing like this program out there.
Can you elaborate on that? On like what would be the things that make it different? Is it just how you are seeing and conceptualizing the sets?
I could talk about my tracker. I'm not going to really talk about anybody else's. My tracker that I came up with is it's teaching the common person almost step by step what I do and how I do it, from the blue collar crafts perspective. How do I do my bets? How do I decide what my next dice set is? That's something I really want to get into here, stuff that I've heard on your past shows. About how, for example, dice setting, on how you need a certain number and which dice sets that you need to throw to get it. I completely 100% disagree with that strategy or process.
All right. Dude, let's hear
really
it, man.
In my opinion, dice setting and consistent mechanics is all about predicting how often that 7 shows up. You cannot prevent it from showing. It's gonna happen. It could be happening on roll 3, roll 40, whatever. But my goal is to try to keep that 7 as far away as possible.
Sure.
Okay. And that's how I came up with the dice setting combinations, or how to progress to the different sets, is by watching your dice to see what they're doing. I do not believe that you can say, I'm going to roll a 6 and you can roll a 6. Now, it does happen quite often. Right. That's one thing I do agree with. But I also think that every day that you shoot the dice, you're going to see different numbers showing, even if you're using the same dice set. So I used to consistently throw the 5 and 9 like all of the time. I hardly even throw it anymore. Now all of a sudden I'm throwing a lot of 6s and 8s. Same dice sets, same form, same everything. It's just every day is slightly different. And I think the key to dice setting and throwing dice is figuring out what your dice are doing that day, and then making adjustments based off of that. So when you're at the table, don't change your mechanics that time. Change your mechanics after you leave. You can adjust the set, though, at the table according to what you're seeing the dice doing at the table, if that makes sense.
It's common sense.
Yeah.
I mean, you always have to see what's happening at the table. Yeah. It's its own, it's its own sample. It's not, I mean, I've always felt you can go to a table with some preconceived notions, but then you better be able to adjust based off of, and not be so stubborn in, well, it's supposed to get me this. Well, it's not getting me this right now. Right?
Exactly. Yeah. 100%. The other thing I got is your whole ATS thing. Okay.
Dude, go ahead.
We're going to go there. We're going to go there. Yeah. Okay. I believe, and I've made comments in your show in the past, in your chats, and I believe that the better the shooter you are, the less you hit it. I really truly believe that.
I understand. I understand that. I do understand that.
And if you hit it, it would be, as you say, a lucky accident. That's just my honest opinion. You know, in my shows, I very seldom hit the ATS, the full ATS. I very seldom do it. But I will hit a side here and there. You know, that's more common for me. You know, so like if I was to do an ATS bet, I probably would not do the all. I would just do a tall and a small bet, and that would, you know, save me a little bit of money for the all. You know, it just, you know, one of the ways that I kind of look at it from a dice shooting perspective. But, you know, everybody, like I said, has their own, or like you said, has their own way of doing things.
I think that's a really interesting. Well, I would agree with you. I feel like sometimes like the really, really good shooters maybe won't necessarily hit the ATS as much. I like to rely on some happy accidents sometimes to hit some of those, and then it puts it in play. And I mean, there's a comment. I'll get to a couple of these. This is first of all, what's up, Chow? Melanie Sanchez. Hey, y'all. All right. Is that Pearl's girl? That's Pearl's girl. That might be Pearl's girl. Nicely said, Chow. Every day is different. Interesting. I'm going to address this comment. Backroom Royale Club. I hear dice setting. My eyes roll immediately. There's a lot of people who their eyes roll back. If you're able to influence, you would be making racks every session. Longest roll I ever had was picking up the dice and tossing them like I didn't care. Fair enough. Fair enough. But also, you know, that's fair enough. But I mean, it's not like every dice setter. I think it's the reason why you're going in there. I've set the dice for certain numbers, hit them. Hopefully you get, I mean, it's also how you're betting, dude. I mean, that's a glaring thing. Regardless, I don't care if you're the best dice setter in the world or the most random of random people. It really comes on how, it really depends on how you're betting, and I mean, massive factor in there.
You know, it comes to dice shooting, backroom Royal Club. You know, dude, I've had very short rolls quite often, but I've also had extremely long rolls. If you watch my show, that's, again, transparency here. I don't hide behind anything. You know, what you see is what you get.
Yeah.
You know, and for example, the last 3 days, I think I've been averaging 14, 15, 16 rolls every shooter, you know. But then next week I'll probably have 3 days in a row where nothing gets above 5 rolls. You know,
if you can roll in the teens, man,
what you find is though that the more confident you get in shooting, the more you know what you're looking for. You're going to start repeating numbers a lot. You know, so for example, if you have a repeater bet, that would probably be a better bet on me doing a repeater bet than the ATS would. It really is. You know, and there's a lot of people in the chat here that do watch my show that will vouch for that, you know. And just because I believe in dice setting and you don't, doesn't make me right. It doesn't make you right. You know, stay in your lane. I'll stay in my lane. I'm not going to cross over here, you know. Believe what you want. You know, that's what I have to say about it.
And I like that. And going back to Backroom Royale Club, by the way, because this is a good, and it's neither's wrong or right. And the only time I hit the ATS was when I ain't on it. Yeah, dude, sometimes, I mean.
That's the truth. That is the truth.
You know, but I mean, I've smacked that thing plenty. The last time I was at Aria, not the full ATS, but I hit sides. I play it a little different and I play it big. So there's a lot of ways to, the ATS is a complex beast, I think. But you've got a point. I see a lot of random rollers that don't hit it. At the same time, I can say, man, I don't bet on a lot of random people at this point in playing. And the only person that's hitting that thing the last 2 times at Aria was myself. So
and I'll go back to Backroom Royal Club, his last comment here. You know, dude, I actually shoot better in a casino than I do on my own table here. I really do. My table, if you know anything about my table, is actually a pretty pretty bouncy table. So controlling the dice on my table is a very difficult feat to do. Whereas when I'm in a casino, those tables are usually the same or harder of a table than what I have at home here. So I'm actually able to stick the dice a little bit better in an actual casino, and actually usually do better in the casino.
Yeah,
so that's just what I've noticed.
I think the big missing, you know, the elephant in the room though is how you're betting, because I mean, those are huge variables on making money at the craps table, dice setting and all that stuff. Believe or not, it's got its place. But I definitely don't make
100%.
money on random rollers. That's for sure. And I play a lot at, I can tell you that. I mean, so I'd rather bet on someone personally that is at least trying to, let's say, call it influence, or let's say avoid a 7. And then we'll leave it at that. But good discussion, dude. And I appreciate you commenting on. Let me get some other ones. Sen 8, sometimes the fastball isn't as effective as the previous start. I don't know what that was for, but always bet on yourself. Any bonus side bets if you practice. True that. EFSU, do several tune-up toss before betting big. Good shooters. Does that mean good groupings or long random results? I don't know. I mean, it does that mean good grouping or long random?
Okay.
Result?
What I think he's saying there is, always, like Ed always says, always treat yourself as a random roller in the beginning until you know what your dice are doing. Get set up so you can kind of know. You kind of know if you're in the bone zone or if you're not when you're shooting the dice, and get to see what you're doing first before you start putting big money on yourself. I think that's what he's referring to.
Fuzzy, repeater bet can be profitable with a consistent set and mechanics. True. And then
even if you're not on a repeater bet, you're just doing your trend betting. That's very profitable as well.
And so as far as doing any live play in the casino, not filming, eventually I will, but I mean, I live right above Aria. So I'm there a lot, and I'll be there the next couple nights. And dude, we don't take any offense. Enjoy the back and forth, by the way, and appreciate that you're even here and not taking a defensive stance to anything that we're saying. I mean, that's important. It's like I would always, right?
Yeah, I agree with you 100% on that. I don't take any offense at all either, but you got to remember where we're coming from too. We are out in the public face. We're putting ourselves out there, and we take a lot of criticism from a lot of people. And sometimes we do jump back a little bit sooner than what we probably should. And sometimes do misread comments and that. So again, no offense taken by that. But I do have to defend my position, and that's why I am who I am. And that's what makes my channel what it is by defending that position.
Nice. And I'll defend my stance on the ATS forever, all day long. All right. But this goes back to Senate. He said this, it's like baseball pitcher. They have the same mechanics all the time, but sometimes something might be a little off and you have to adjust. That's what his other comment meant.
But here's the thing is being able to figure out what it is, figure out what that thing is that's off. You have what's Bump John. He's there to help you. I don't have that person, so I have to figure this shit out myself, I do have the viewers though every day. The viewers are not afraid to tell me what I'm doing wrong. And that is cool. That is very cool. That's part of the journey.
Yeah, and Backroom Royale. I'm from Jersey, bro. We aggressive, dude. I'm from Jersey. That's why I lived up until I was 16 in Jersey. So yeah, I get it. That's totally cool, man. This is good. I like having these convos, Craps Master Journey, about.
Thank you.
And I do think that like when you're at a casino, and I'm at casinos a lot because I'm here in Vegas, so I see a lot of play. I see a lot of random play, and in fact at Aria, which is where I've been playing a lot lately. And hey, I'll tell you this thing. I walked through Aria today. Really, really cool that there were 4 tables open at like 5 o'clock and 1 crapless, 3 regular, and there was hardly anyone at 3 tables. That's the nice thing about why I always say I love Aria, because it's the biggest scrap spit in Vegas, 10 tables. And you can always, the thing that a lot of people don't realize about Aria is that it isn't crawling with a lot of like players, not necessarily like there's not a lot of, the player pool is different than let's say at Palms or like Fremont or downtown where you've got a lot of people that are going to camp out, maybe play the don'ts. They're going to just sit there, and do that. Whereas the turnaround is fast. That's why I said we don't need to worry about getting a table. You can go down there, and just because there's a lot of new players, they're in town, they're going to come in, they're going to bet, and the turnover is really high at Aria. So you can always get. I'm never worried about like being asked out of a table or not having a table, unless it's like prime time Friday night. Saturday night and when they've got 10 tables open. You just wait a little while. You're always going to end up with a comfortable area to shoot from. It's going to be $25 minimum, but that's Aria. So,
yeah.
And then Todd says, well said, CMJ.
Thank you, Todd.
Fuzzy, what's the strangest thing? What's the strangest thing you've seen at a craps table?
Strangest thing I've ever seen at a craps table was the time that Fuzzy fell in love with the table and he rolled himself out. No, I'm just kidding. Just teasing. I don't know about the strangest thing, but I will tell you the funniest thing that I saw at the table. And Fuzzy was there at the time. Was we were down in Chicago one time, and Alfredo was rolling the dice, and he was not having the best day, but he threw the ATS. And if you've ever met Alfredo, he's not a small gentleman. He's a pretty decent sized guy. And I was standing right next to him, and he jumps up literally 2.5 feet up in the air, does a 180 and lands about 2 feet behind him and almost lands on top of this lady that weighs like 90 pounds. He was so excited. So that was a fun story. But I don't know. I've seen so many different things. Fuzzy's probably seen a lot more than I have, though. He really has.
Crabs Master Journey, are you coming out to Vegas anytime soon?
I do not plan on it. I was coming out. I've only been to Vegas twice. Both times were the Craps for the Cure. So I don't plan on it. Again, my blue collar crap style, dude, that includes my life as well. I have to pick my vacations, and my next vacations can be in March. I'm going on a cruise with my wife.
Are you going to be playing craps? Here's the most important.
Definitely. That's probably, I've played more craps on a cruise lately than I have in an actual casino lately. I can honestly say that.
So your wife is fine with you playing craps then? I guess she has no choice. She's a big slot addict. I mean, she loves playing slots. Yeah. So I'll go play craps. She does her slots, just like a lot of people in the community here. The slots, the guys, and then we meet up later on sometime throughout the night. So BRB, Aria's BRB's ATM. His toss looks great at Aria. If you can, I think I was telling Moonshine this when he comes out, we should play Aria because you just got to get used to their tables. It just takes a little getting used to. I mean, they're just a little softer, a little more cushion. Camper, great show. As a blue collar guy or a T-shirt with a number on the back, calling it a night. Days start early. Okay.
Thank you.
Team ATS from ATS Hunter. Yes. Royale Club. The Aria is a gorgeous casino. I think it's one of the prettiest. Like, I'm falling in love with Aria again. Big Foam Finger. Yo, 10 Ton, another great guest in CMJ. Now I need to put aside a whole week to watch The Journey. It is a fabulous one indeed. Hondo, what's the best live session you've ever had, Joe?
The best live session?
Yeah.
Meaning length of roll or?
I don't know. It's open for interpretation.
Okay. Best live on video. I think I had like a 64 roller is my record.
Oh my God, dude. Nice.
On video, but that was like what, a year and a half, 2 years ago. The best in casino, I really never documented. There is one documented roll that I had in Vegas 2 years ago with Justice Jen and John and all those guys. That was a 28 roller. I know that one. I know I've hit the 40s in a casino, but I never counted, so I don't know for sure. But I know there's been some 40s. Real
Pain. Joe, ever play at Island Casino in the UP? They have a tub
I have
table,
not.
like 6 or 7 feet wide.
I did talk to a couple of my friends in Green Bay that have gone up there, and they love going up there. They go up there once a week. I don't even know where that's at, but I've heard about the tub table. I really have.
So, Joe, you've been to the UP then? You go up to the UP?
I used to go up 1 week a year to a place called the Bond Falls Flowage, which is freaking phenomenal. Do you remember years ago, I think it was the Hams commercial that had that waterfall coming down on their side of their product?
No. But I've been to the UP a bunch of times.
Yeah. So the Bond Falls Flowage is in Ontonagon County. And it's this big flowage that goes through there, and they have a huge ass waterfall at the bottom. It's just absolutely beautiful. But the land is owned by the electric company, and they let you camp on it for free. You could camp up to 1 week a year, I think it is, for free, or 2 weeks. I forget what it is, but we always go for a week every year. And it was in the beginning of the fishing season, so we do a bit of walleye fishing, a little bit of bottle bassing, and stuff like that. So,
dude, yeah, Ham's the beer refreshing.
Yeah. I can't remember if it was Hams or a different commercial back then, but they had a waterfall. But that was the waterfall they used to film that commercial. Was
the UP is crazy. So only a lot of people, people from your neck of the woods or Michigan really go up there. I've played shows at Marquette University.
Sure.
In
Marquette's only like an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours away from me. That's it.
Dude, it was crazy because the snow was when we were driving through there when it was the winter. I mean, that snow was really big. UP was cool.
Here's the thing, though. Here's the thing with the snow, dude, is east side of the lakes gets hit. So east side of Lake Superior is what gets hit. So that's why the UP gets hit so heavy with that snow.
Oh, interesting.
So little information for you.
The UP, eh?
Yeah, hey.
And then Sam Man. Hey, everybody, 10 Ton and CMJ. Crap Stock. The Crap Stock loves Aria. That's where I've actually played at a table with the Crap Stock at Aria. Fuzzy says, how'd you get the night off from work? And then Yo Chef was wondering the same thing.
I actually put in, how many weeks ago did we plan this? I put in for that because actually 10 Ton asked me when I wanted to do a show. He gave me like 3 different dates. And I said, let me see what's going to go on to the tracker and see when I'm going to get it finished. So we picked August 6th. So I put in about a month and a half ago for tonight off. In fact, Mary, my wife, was ripping on me. She goes, you think some of the things she takes off work is dumb? She goes, this is dumb. Why are you taking off work for this?
This is the best reason, right? This is the best reason. G-Dub says, I've come to believe your grip, toss, landing zone are way more important than your dice set. Consistency, I believe, is much more key in avoiding big ugly than dice sets. You got a very valid point there. It's all
in my opinion. I agree 100% with him. In my opinion, you need that first before the dice set even enters the conversation. You really do, and that's one of my future products I'll be coming up with. I'm looking at doing a 10-hour video series on dice shooting, the mechanics, what you're looking for. The dice sets, everything, ethics, the energy. I mean, everything you could possibly think about. It comes into dice shooting. We're out to try to cover in this series so we can put together a really super nice program. So I agree 100% with what he said.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's nice. You know what, though, dude? I'm gonna get to. I gotta just take we're gonna pause not only for I mean, just because I like some of this stuff. This will just be let me just do a ferret alert. Can I?
Sure.
Yeah. Man, Craftsmaster Journey, I had some ferret encounters in Biloxi, Mississippi, man.
Yeah, do share, please.
They were just unbelievable. I realized the epiphany after coming back was I realized that I should never leave Vegas. How good I have it here. That was the big epiphany. I don't have to deal with a lot of, people that don't know how to play the game. And case in point, dude, I was at when I was at Aria this past weekend, and I was there. I just had just a couple nice rolls, man. It was so pleasant, and then it was just me at the table, right? It's like 1 in the morning, and then all of a sudden, a don't better showed up, right? There was one other guy at Stick Left, and a don't better showed up, but he was he was a don't better with a plan. He wasn't just a random guy. He was there.
Nothing wrong with that, yeah.
2 bet the don'ts. And then it was me, and then another guy showed up drunk. He was also a don't better, right? So the other guy leaves it, and now it's just me with 2 don't betters.
I have nothing against don't betters. I really don't. Just don't create a wall. Don't put your damn chips where I'm throwing the dice. If you want to bet the don'ts, have at it. I'm totally fine with that. I really am. I'm not the type of person that I'm going to try to pick them off or none of that crap. As long as they're playing decent. If they're playing, the same game as I'm playing, I don't really care what they're playing. It's not me against them. It's the casino.
Carolina Reaper's mentality is he likes to pick them off. I like that is, that aggressiveness. But you know what I did? And it was I felt good doing it, is that I really hated this guy. And I can't help it. I just hate him, right? And I just hated him in theory. And so then he started betting the don'ts, and then the dice came to me, and I'm like, we are at an impasse because I'm passing him to you. And then he passed him to the other don't better, who then passed them to me. And then I'm like, and then I just colored up. And it was just time. Is the universe telling me, go to sleep and go home?
That's Bo whispering in your ear, go home, buddy, go home.
I did. But I was having good rolls though. Like my rolls were solid, but it's one of those things I couldn't control I was like one person at a table and then two don't betters go in there. I'm drinking a new, let me just give shout out to the sponsor, not our sponsor too. Sure. I never do these. I am drinking a new flavor of this drink called Trip Craps Master Journey. This stuff is really good. It's a mindful botanical tropical mango. I bought this just because of the color and the flavor. I've never tried it, but man, these things are good. These are one of my favorite
You're
drinks.
In marketing? That's why.
I mean, they're very appealing. When I go into the aisle, I'm like, sweet, a Trip. The name Trip, because I had a song that I wrote that was called Trip. I just like the whole vibe of this. And the drink
is actually... What was the name of your band? You always talk about being in a band. Come on, man. Share. Share.
It's not, no, let's not go down that road. Let's not do that journey. Okay. We can't do that journey. That'll just be
offline. I want to hear it, man.
Offline for sure. Yeah. I'll try to go down there off. Yeah, we will. I'll try to find some music. Okay. But I've toured all over that area in multiple bands. Oh, so I know like Milwaukee. I love Milwaukee. Madison is definitely a weird place.
Extremely.
That was a weird place to play. I prefer Milwaukee. And then obviously I did cut through because we'd go play in the Upper Peninsula, which was sweet.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay. Let's get back into some dice setting stuff. All right.
Okay. Okay.
Oh, look at this, man. First of all, let me get these. Hams from the land of sky blue waters. Fuzzy says, have you climbed the ski jump in Iron Mountain?
I did not.
Okay. Drama Slop. Anyone shot craps at Vanderpump Casino? I have not shot there since it's become Vanderpump. So anyone in the chat, I know that people do go there. They still like the Cromwell. I have no idea if they changed their felts. Although I heard that there was some grumblings in the Casino Tears chat that they changed the felt. I think Alan G told me that they changed the felt at Fremont. So that's like, I guess, hot news on the wire. Fuzzy, you're an awesome man and a great guest, Joe. Just a question. Do you like sad puppies? Oh, yeah. Fuzzy always likes it when I play the sad puppy video.
Only when they don't demonetize 10 ton, I like them.
Yeah, they demonetize me every time I play them. So let's see. Is James Spencer, is Crapsy down? I know you use Crapsy on your show.
They have something going on with they must have did an update, and it's going to take a couple days to get approved. There was an email put up by Chuck from Crapsy this afternoon saying that there is a certain web page that you can actually go on. So their normal web page is not working either, which is version 1 of Crapsy. But there is a link, and tomorrow's show I'll share that link so anybody that wants to play along can jump onto that link. And that reminds me, I gotta schedule that table for tomorrow. So
nice.
Cool.
I have something here that you were when you were it's about the 5454 Hardway set.
Okay.
And do you think that, just to give people an idea, can you explain why you use it? Because that's something that was listed. And I think a lot of people, I mean, I use the Hardway set just to get my bearings. And
correct.
And when I start.
Yeah, I'm going to switch screens here just really quick.
Do it.
I don't know if you can see that, or is that going to work? There we go. So we're not going to hear Tenton at all. I'll go through this really quick. I use the 5-4 hardware set. So it's going to be the 5s on top, 4s on the front. And the reason I do that is because anytime I get a non-7 number, it's either going to be a primary hit, so it'll be a hardware 5-5, 4-4, 2-2, or 3-3. Or it's going to be a single pitch of the dice. So it could be single pitch either way. Anytime that you have a 7, and on this set, it's not a 6 or a 1-7, it's the 4-3-7 or 2-5-7. Anytime you get a 7, that means that I double pitched the dice. Okay, so there's your 5-2, your 4-3, your 2-5, or your 3-4. So it's an easy way for me to determine where my 7s are coming from, if it's a double pitch or if it's an off-axis 7. So if it's an off-axis 7, that means I have a double explosion. That'd be a 1-6, or be a double implosion, which is a 6-1. So that's where my 6-1 7s will come from. And then I will roll the dice at least 6 times of that hardware set so I can determine a pattern of what I'm seeing on the dice. And once I figure out what kind I'm seeing, because I tend to, and this is my normal throw, I will tend to throw one dice off axis. And it's usually the right die. Sometimes it's a left, but usually it's the right die. So I know that with the hardware set, if I throw one die off axis, I can never get a 7. Okay? So that's kind of the neat thing with that hardware set for my viewpoint or from my perspective. It's also an easy way to determine what I'm throwing on average. So if I'm throwing primers, if I'm throwing a primary hit, it's obviously going to be a hardware, which is awesome. Even though I don't bet the hardways, it's awesome for a lot of people. If I'm throwing something other than the hardware, then that means that I'm single pitching. So, that type of stuff is very important. So in the Blue Collar Craft system, my 5-4 hardware set is my base set. So I will start every single session off with the 5-4 hardware set. So that way I can see what the dice are doing. Or if I'm further along in my shooting progressions and I kind of lose track where I'm at, I will always go back to that hardware set and reassess and reestablish a base, and then I go off of that. So hopefully that helps explain a little bit about the dice setting philosophy and how I work things.
Yeah, it does, man. That's the basic. That's the solid sort of the traditional. I feel like it falls right in line with why anyone should you be using the hard set. It basically, I think, just to get your bearings and to figure that out. And how good are you at tracking your left and right die with the same die
very good
color?
I mean, I used to, when I first started shooting the dice, I always used 2 different color die, and I found that over time I got lazy, so I would just look for the colors rather than track the dice. So I actually switched to using the same color die now, and I always watch that left die every single time. So I'll watch to see if the left crosses over, if it branches off, if it stays true. I have a tendency to, when I throw the dice set, they'll land and they'll actually drift off to the left a lot of times, which is something that I've been working very seriously on in the recent months to eliminate that. And I, for the most part, have, but I still do have problems with that, but very easy for me to track it because I always watch one die. I never watch them both.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah. That's but you got to practice that. You have to practice watching that die. That's something you ended up talking to Moonshine about, who just like really is good at that and has practiced that. And the tips that he gave me on how he does it, I now do that. And then I'm able to like really focus in on that left die, which is pretty cool. And obviously, man, it took me how many almost 2 decades before I started tracking the left eye. You know what I mean? It's like the levels of where we're going. All your rolls, Dice Grinder says, all your rolls you track, what percentage you're on axis, over or under 50?
I honestly don't know what my percentage is. I know that if I had to put a number on it, I'd probably go 55% one dice off axis. But I know that, and that's how I can adjust my sets. The more you practice, the more you understand how the dice react, to your throw, to the layout, to the back wall, all that stuff. The faster you can make adjustments, and you'll find common patterns with your dice throw. And I'm not looking for a perfect throw. What I'm looking for is repeatability. I want to know what my dice are doing, and if I can keep on repeating, even if it's a problem, I can keep on repeating that same problem. I can adjust from that. It's when my mechanics are different that I can't adjust, then I'm as good as the random roller when those days occur. And that happens to all of us. I don't care how practiced you are. You're going to have bad days rolling the dice. It's just, that's the way it is,
But if you're paying attention, and I don't even know if this ever made it onto a podcast somewhere, but I don't know if it did. Who knows? It's all blurs into one thing, but I was at Red Rock with Bump John. I don't know if I even talked about this, but I ended up, so I was shooting and I bet, I think I had quarters on the ATS, right? And so I was shooting straight out classic. I went to a hardware set just so I can figure things out. I didn't start there, but that's where I ended up because I wasn't having any good rolls. So I wanted to figure out, I just went back to basics. It's a little tougher down the line, obviously, with your elbow when you're shooting from stick right one down the line. I started with a hardware set. Well, guess what? I had a great roll. It was up in the 20s, right? And I realized, and the ATS came into play. I needed aces and midnight. And then because I hit 3 hard 8s, I'm like, shit, you know what? I'm just going to put the aces where the 8s are, where the hard 8 is, right? Yeah. Well, within 3 rolls of my next roll, by the way, I put 100 on the ATS on that side, on both, everywhere. It's 100 at station is the max you can go. But on my third roll, my first roll out was ace deuce. My second roll was, I think my point was a 5. And then my third roll was aces. So I did dial it up exactly how it should be done from just paying attention. And anyway, I ended up laying it the 6 because then I hit the 4. It was like in 7 rolls I hit that small. But I also laid it. I laid the 6 because I needed the 6, but I laid the 6 for 1,200, and then I put 300 on the hard 6. I happened to roll a hard 6, so it was just like, that's going back to Royale. That's how you can make a lot of money in 7 rolls.
You kind of brought up a really good point there. My last cruise I was on, they had days where there was not as many people playing, so they only opened up half the table at first until more people start showing up, and they were opening up the right side of the table. So one of the days before the tables open, I actually went to practice and I shot from stick right 1, and I threw midnight 3 times in a row.
Interesting.
And it was like, and it was not a set that 3 times in a row, and it's not a set that I would normally do. So all I did is I rotated one of the dice a quarter turn, and I had a completely different number, and it worked out perfect. And I actually put that in play during the actual game when I was betting money and everything, and it worked out very wonderfully for me. But again, that's knowing what your dice are doing, how they're reacting, the adjustments to make, and that's all stuff that's actually, once you know what's going on, it's actually very simple to do. It really is.
Craps Master Journey, I got an alert here. San 8, man, with the $5 donation. Love it, dude. Can you cover the 10-ton to a takedown? We're gonna cover this. San 8, what number? Because Craps Master Journey, I think you play something very similar. I already know you do. I just happen to market it this way on how I play it. The 10-ton to a takedown is this. I play it with hundreds. If you want to play it with 30s, this is how I would do it, or this is how I do it. $30 on the 6 and 8. I'm like you, Craps Master Journey. I full press always my first hits. I'm never taking anything from it. I feel like you're gonna have to get at least, you want to get at least 8 rolls.
I full press my first hit also, but I go across instead of on one number.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm not that. I don't spread out. I'm like vertical.
Yeah,
So we're going downfield, dude. Randy Moss. Okay, in deep. $30. Your first hit on, let's do on a 6 and 8. You're going to go up to 60. Your next hit, it's going to pay 70. Your second hit, I'm going to then regress it it's simple at that level, all the way back down to 30. And then you put $100 in your rack. On a 5 and 9. If you start at a quarter, it pays 30, pays 35. I actually just go up to 50. And then on my next hit, I'll end up taking down the 70 and reduce it back down to 25. So you will have made 105. You will have made the same amount.
The difference between that now is you're full pressing that number, but it might take several rolls for that number to hit again if it does. Whereas I'm looking for 2 hits and I'm down. I'm out of there,
Whoa! So you are like very much like, so you're regressing across.
Correct. I regress to profits across then. So, my 2 hits will come anywhere between 3 to 6 rolls into the shooter, whereas you might be coming down 6 to 9 rolls into the shooter, to get that second hit.
Yeah. And sometimes, and I'm not betting across. So I'm really I'm not betting, on every single number. So it's really
I'm betting across as much as my bankroll allows it. My personal bankroll, when I do a lot of 6 and 8 betting, I really do, and then I'll get the profit from there, which does take 10 rolls sometimes. And then once I come down, I'll go on the field, and I'll use the field to spread out. Then that's one of my ways of playing.
And I want to just get back to the Senate. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. Also, if you give me the exact amounts that I can tell you, because it's not necessarily, you can do this on any amounts. I have like my preference on amounts. It works great if you ever get up to 100, because then you're taking down $500 at a time. You're always taking down 500 in 2 hits. When you start playing at that level, you can do it at 4 and 10 at 50. Either way, it's a full hit. It's a full press, max press with like either a regression back down to base. But when you start at a higher level, like let's say if you started at 60, you can then go back down to 30 or whatever. It's really a kind of a full press with a super regression built into it. So yeah, feel free. You could text me. I'll talk to you about it all day long, but appreciate it, man. He said he would start at 50 or 60. Yeah. Okay. So 60 on a 6 and 8. I'm going to go with that. You can go up to, I'd just go up to 120. And then when that next hit, it's going to pay 140. I would regress that whole thing down to 30. Actually, that's how I would run that bet. So on a 5 and 9, that's easy. On that, I'm going to go my first hit on a 50. I'm going to go up to 100. And then that's going to, on the second hit, that's going to pay 140. I'm going to take that 140 and then regress it, maybe even down to 25. So I will have put, 140 plus 75 into the rack, so you can make a chunk there. I think it's really effective. When I was in Biloxi Craftsmaster Journey, I was just grinding, and that's how I was staying alive. When the times when I did play Discipline, and the Plow can attest to this because I was next to him at Hard Rock, I was just grinding that system and just staying, because you're just, that's kind of the whole, a lot of this playing is you just kind of have to tread water. Hopefully you can catch a roll if you are sort of playing that way. And, it's a good way to grind it.
With the Bukhar Crafts, you're coming in with a plan ahead of time. You're not doing it randomly. You're not doing it by emotion. I go in, I know what I'm going to be doing. You go into the casino, you know what you're going to be going. You already have this planned out ahead of time. You've already gone through this thousands of times. You've thought about it. If this happens, this is what I'm going to do, that type of stuff. And then once you get in that profit, then you have a little bit of freedom to do what you want to do, after that, but until you get into profit, you really have to have it kind of planned out and be able to make those adjustments according to how your plan plays out.
Man,
in my opinion,
you just brought up a very good point on being so well rehearsed. And this is like it's kind of like, let's bring up like bring up Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers. This is like them. They know the offense so well that it's automatic when they're going up and reading the defense at a craps table. But the better QBs are the ones that can adjust on the fly because they know everything so well. And I think that bodes well for a craps player too. The more you know all of these fundamentals, all of your basics, the plans that you had in place, because they're not always going to go exactly. The play isn't going to go according to plan. Sometimes it does. Oh, great. I just hit my 6 and then I just hit my 6 again and I can take it down. You might not. Sure. Well, what happens when you've had that 6 pressed up and another one pressed up? And then, like you said, stuff isn't hitting and I'm regressing vertically. So I think what you said is really important is the repetition of knowing it so that you can actually change when the shit hits the fan a little bit, or maybe what you practiced, your set isn't necessarily performing how you think it should perform.
Yeah. Even, Alfredo brought up a good point when he was on the show. And this is something I've been trying to incorporate a little bit into my betting style is, if you don't get any hits for, say, 3 rolls in a row, take your 2 highest bets, cut them in half, put that in your rack, collect some profit, and you can always build those back up again. Don't be fearing being out or, having that money out there. Don't fear that you're going to miss out on things, because that's how people lose money is when you fear that, because you're betting emotionally. If you're not getting those bets or you're not collecting, take some money back to the rack, bring some of your bets down a little bit. You can always build them back up again.
Dice Grinder says, have you recorded slow-mo for your toss? If so, what's your takeaway?
I have not, simply because I'm doing so much other stuff. I have, and Arnell's going to probably laugh at me. He really will. But I've watched the dice go down the table so often. I know what looks normal, what does not look normal. And I'm not afraid on the show to call out, oh, that was a bad toss. I called it out all the time. I might have 3 in a row where it's a bad toss. I know this. My toss that I'm looking for is going to be that toss that hits the back wall, rolls off the back wall, maybe 1, maybe 2 turns, and then it stops. I'm trying to get this dice to land an inch or 2 from the back wall. And honestly, I don't need slow-mo if that's what my dice are doing, because I know it's not randomizing. I really don't. I know that they hit the damn wall and it freaking stopped. It didn't go, tumbling all over. When it tumbles all over, I'll call it out immediately. Transparency. That's a bad roll. This is what happened.
Globe, what's your most common roll? Is it a single pitch, double pitch, or off axis, left or right? Or do you know? You should kind of know.
I do know. I kind of covered that just a little bit ago. My common roll is my right die is off axis. Yeah. Or I'll single pitch it quite often. But I do go on quite often. I go on sprees where I will have the same result 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 times in a row. Where I'll have like a 3-2-5, or I'll have a hard 10, or even midnight. That happens quite often for me. And a lot of people that are in the chat will vouch for me on that, who to watch my show. I think today I had one that was like 5 out of 6 or 6 out of 8 rolls. I threw a 6 today.
And 5 ones. But you threw 5 ones. I saw that, dude. I remember.
How more regular can you get than that?
Yeah. Real pain. I remember Joe had a tip for practicing the concept of releasing the thumb first. Something I always think about when my dice are separating.
Now, when I remember actually giving that tip, one of the biggest things that people do is when a dice separate is they don't release with their thumb and let the dice roll off their fingers, if that makes sense. What'll happen is they'll actually release the fingers, and that thumb pushes, and the dice actually split apart in midair. Okay, I have since changed my dice grip slightly, or my focus on my dice grip, since I gave him that tip. And now what I do is I actually pick up the dice with 2 fingers, and then I place my other 2 onto it just very gently. So now what I'm doing is when I'm releasing, it's almost a natural release, when I'm releasing those 2 fingers, because I can't hold the dice with only 1 finger. Okay.
Yeah.
I put more focus with that. It's huge part. Yeah.
Huge, especially for how I throw at Paris at one table. I will always, there's almost a focus on pushing with that thumb just so I can get it almost almost like a drop shot with a little forward roll slight. But yeah, you got to just focus on that. Shout out OMG, it's variance. Francis, you're the man. Craftsmaster Journey. This guy is one of the nicest guys in the world. Poker player, fantastic poker player. Great.
That's what you had on your show a couple weeks ago. Or
that's another fantastic poker player. Okay. OMG, Wayne, I got to get you on and we could talk poker. You're the best, dude. You are the best. Love you, man. Yeah. And then, Sen8 says, I do the same with the grip, Joe. BV Wood. Betting across is the way I go. If I leave a box number uncovered, that's what's going to roll. I mean,
happens to me all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, so Joe, why do you believe your approach is easier and more casino friendly?
Why is because of the way that I have you watching the dice. So you're starting off with that hard way set. And like I described before, if a 7 shows, you're double pitching or you're double exploding or double inputting, depends on which 7 shows up. From there, you can figure out really fast what dice set to go through. And this is assuming that your mechanics stay the same on a more regular basis than not. Okay. So there's certain dice sets that if your dice are double pitching, you can go to. For example, the all 7 set is what I would go to if I'm doing a double pitch on a regular basis. And all my dice sets except for 2 of them that I use start off with a left die, and I'm gonna switch over really quick here to the dice analyzer, if you will. All my dice sets except for 2 of them start off with the left die as a 5-4 set. Okay, so the 5-4, 5 on top, 4 in the front. Or yeah, 4 in the front. Hard way, the right one is a 5-4 on a all 7 set. All I'm doing is I'm double pitching that second die. So it's still 5-4 on this side. I just double pitch, so I can eliminate that double pitch danger. So if it double pitches, what do I get? I get a hard way result. Okay. Another dice set I'll have is starting at the 5-4, 5-4. All I do is just rotate the dice, and this is called the mirror aces set, which is the 5-4 stays the same. I just change that right dice around. Now it's 5-3. So what happens is the inside the dice are actually aces now. So that way I know that if I double explode and I show aces, I know exactly what happened. Or if I know that a 6 shows, I know that it was an implosion of the dice. So just knowing the orientation of the dice helps you figure out what you should be throwing in and how to reorganize it. And you can go back to the other screen there 10 times if you want. I have, as part of the apprentice package, I have it's a 260 page or 250 page document that comes with that shows you in detail how I do my betting, how I do the dice setting, how to pick the different dice set families, and how to make it really easy to figure out how to pick the next one to go with. And then also with the journeyman package, the tracker that I showed you tonight, that comes with both the apprentice program, apprentice manual, and then I also have another 250 page journeyman manual. So that journeyman package is $99.99, comes with a 500 page manual basically, and 2 dice trackers. Plus I throw in a casino paper printout. That's not as nice as yours, of course, but it's a paper printout that you can actually bring to the casino. Man, and you can record your rolls in that. That is some value. That is value. Okay. Yeah. That is, so you get 2 dice trackers, 500 pages of manuals, and that dice tracker that you bring to the casino for basically $100. So yeah, it should be $500, but it should be. But Blue Collar Craftsman, we're about the deal. No, it's never going to go on sale. It's on sale for $100. It originally was $500, and it's on sale for $100. I'm not playing that marketing game, buddy. It's a good deal. It really is, and it's going to stay $100. It's not going to go down. So, all right. So, Craftsmaster Journey, what should people expect
from dice setting? I mean, can dice setting guarantee results? I think that's like,
No.
Yeah.
Simple as that. No, it cannot. What dice setting can do, and kind of like G-Dub said before, making sure that your mechanics and the way that you shoot the dice are consistent. That is actually more important than doing the dice setting. It really is. So learn how to shoot the dice, learn how you shoot the dice, learn to watch what the dice are doing and what normally happens for you. Once you figure that out and you can be consistent in your throw on a more regular basis than not, then you can start doing the dice setting. And the dice setting, again, like I said, we start off with that 5-4-5 or hardware set, and then we adjust the sets based off of what I see that dice doing. And in my opinion, my goal is just to starve that 7 off as long as possible. So if I can get 8, 9, 10 rolls, that's better than the average shooter. You should be making money off of that. I'm not looking to make bank. I'm not going to take the casino down for 30 grand. I've never come close to that. I think the most I've ever won in a casino is like $2 grand.
Yeah.
That's not my goal. My goal is to come in.
That's all bankroll variant.
It is. But my goal is to go in, be successful, leave with a profit or the same as what I went in with.
Man, if you leave even, that's great.
Yeah, that's my goal. You're going to take losses, but if you are disciplined, you're going to leave a winner more often than you leave a loser.
Craftsmaster Jimmy, you know what you said. I think it's not necessarily the set. It's really your mechanics that end up being the bigger issue. A lot of I know. As a beginning
shooter, I agree with you. But the more experienced you become, the dice sets do become a factor.
Yeah, well, maybe I'm not there yet, but when I'm tossing and I make a mistake, a mechanical mistake, I'm then praying. I'm like, I know it immediately.
So am I.
It immediately.
So am I.
But you know it immediately when you've done it.
Yeah.
And for me, that left eye will kick out and run to the left. And then I'm just praying. I already know. I know before it hits, it's a bad toss. And a lot of my, 7s, unfortunately, end up happening that way from mechanics. But then again, there's a silver lining to sometimes, which I've always called those happy accidents when, let's say, I've thrown it too deep. Like it's usually like an error in depth of the throw for me when I will end up with a horn. Oh, you know what I mean? Oh, aces that die rolled all the way back into the dealer's chip rack, and then it's and so those are happy accidents. But a mechanical error, and I'm praying from the second that leaves my.
But see, here is, and I'm not saying this is the difference between me and you, but I'm guessing this is the difference between me and you. Is I've gotten to the point now where I actually know that before I even pick the dice off the felt. I know right from as soon as I grip those dice what that throw is going to be, because everything stems off of my grip. It really does. And like I said, I have a big problem because I have fat ass fingers. So my hardest part is getting the crack on the dice centered between my middle finger and my thumb. And that's why I went to this 2-finger grip, because I could feel that difference. That is one of the benefits of having OCD and Tourette's, is that I could feel those minor differences. So I know as soon as I pick up the damn dice, if it's going to be a good throw or a bad throw, a lot of the times. Not all the time, but a lot of the times.
Shout out Pearl's Girl for the 10 jewels. I like it. Hey, this is a great question from Real Pain. I still get nervous on a real table. Do you?
Yes, I do. I will take, when I go to real table, even sometimes when I do my show, but mostly when I get to the casino, I will take 1 or 2 shooters before I settle out. And my first shooter, I will pick up the dice, and when I'm sitting there, I will see the dice doing this. Little vibrations, and I just have to focus, settle down, breathe. I will say doing a show daily has helped me tremendously when I do go to the casino, because all the distractions that I have of running a show is actually greater than a lot of the distractions that I have in the actual casino. The noise, the people around me, all that stuff. The only thing that really gets to me when I'm in a casino and it really throws my throw off is when somebody puts their damn chips right where I'm landing the dice.
Man, they didn't watch your series.
Yeah, right. That's the only thing that really throws me off. And I've gone to the point now where I can actually land a dice in front of the chips and jump it over, and that's fine. I've gone to that point, but taking the time out to walk down to the other side of the table and asking them to move their chips is sometimes not the best thing to do, because sometimes people they're not educated enough to know that you're actually just trying to help them, in the long run. And some people do take offense to that.
I agree with you. And a lot of times people are, if they're at a table, you want me to tell him to move his chips? I'm like, no.
Yeah.
Don't.
I'll let them know that. Please do so. When I was on my last cruise, I'm sorry to cut you off, but my last cruise, I actually went down. Yeah, I went down to the end of the table before I even shot. When people were standing down there, I said, "Hey, just so you know, I landed dice right here. Could you please put your bets here or here?" I've prior to them even betting, and some of them just kind of look at you like, "What the hell are you talking about?" No, seriously, trust me. This is where I landed dice. I want to hit your chips. Can you just put them on? And as soon as you explain it, yeah, not a problem. But then you get those certain people, those ferrets, that say, "Screw you, dude." Okay, whatever. So.
You know what? I always need a reason. Yep. I always need a reason for ferrets. Shout out Biloxi Craps. Really cool guy. Got to shoot with him at Red Rock. Belief in yourself, comfortability, and unshakable focus are just as important as dice setting and mechanics, in my opinion.
I agree.
Oh man, check this out.
Packers
Big
suck, go Eagles. Go back to school, buddy.
Big AZ, since you've just joined us, I'm going to have to show you Big AZ. I redesigned Craftsmaster Journey's Craps Pit. Here it is.
Oh my God.
Yeah. I gave him some suggestions for this season to put that there. Well, so anyway, dude, that is classic though.
If anybody who's met Big AZ, he is one of the nicest, down-to-earth, true human beings that there is. Super nice guy.
Man, he just
the first time I met him
is just as bad.
Wow,
that's funny, man. Fuck, go Bears, man. We got this is what I like. We're the Lions fan. Speaking of Lions fan, we got
Packers right here, buddy, right here.
We got a Michigan State fan though. Huggy Bear, shout out Huggy Bear. Real pain, nerves play in for me as well. What I've been doing when I get on the table, I like to have the dice go around once to help me get acclimated to the table and surrounding noise energy. I would agree with a lot of that with me. I like to get acclimated first, and that's why I usually am passing the dice, because I just like to get
that.
What happened?
I tried that and it doesn't work for me. It really doesn't. I have a habit of jumping on the damn table as soon as the dice get past where I'm at. So I have to wait one complete revolution usually. And I still have the shakes the first one or two shooters every single time. So
I'm a little more nervous, I think, if I'm shooting and I've just joined a table full of people. I really, now that's why I like Aria so much, is that the overall energy in that casino later at night, it's chill. And if anyone's out there that gets to shoot with me at Aria, you will see it and I will point it out. I'm like, this vibe is awesome. When X-Man was here, when we went through and we were shooting late at night, there's something about it, man. The color scheme, the tables are low, the tables seem smaller, almost like you can reach your hand out from stick right one and drop the dice, and they are, I just know it, that they're smaller than a lot of other tables. The height, everything. I'm more sensitive to stuff like that, and I become it gets rid of a lot of my nerves, but I'm still to this day nervous. And I was nervous as a musician, and that's why I would always have to have 2 shots of tequila and a beer right there, right when I started playing. And that's how I started every show. And it worked. Like, once you're in it, you're in it.
Yeah. Here's the thing with me though, is that I go to the table with such a serious attitude, and you can tell that I'm extremely focused when I'm shooting the dice right from the get-go. When I shoot the dice, and it was hilarious on my last cruise, everybody shuts up. No one says a damn word. And it's hilarious because I am so focused. And what happens is, and this is partially why I think I get the shakes, is that I put so much stress on myself that I know what I need to do and I know what I want to do. And that nervousness, and even the crew shuts up, which is hilarious as well, because it's like you go from a loud table to a silent table. There is no social game of craps when I'm shooting the dice. It's just kind of weird.
I mean, in some ways though, I mean, certain people command respect, and certain people they know are not necessarily fucking around on a table. I mean, you can get that way.
There's only one person that doesn't follow that rule, though. Double Deuce. You can hear him from across the
casino. Man, where is that guy, dude? Where is that guy?
He's seen him for a while.
You know, shout out to all the Seattle people, right? So Double Deuce is a loudmouth, but he's good to have at a table. He's
hilarious, man. Great guy.
He's good to have. I've seen him a little nervous. at Paris. I went over to him just to try to get him to relax. But yeah, Double Deuce, man, he should be here. He's a
great guy. He is one of the most generous guys. He actually last year, and I can't believe my family was kicking me in the ass for this. He actually offered to pay for an airplane flight for me from Wisconsin to Seattle to watch the Seattle Green Bay game with him and John, and I turned him down.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I turned him down, and simply because I'm the type of person that I don't like owing people. And he said I didn't owe him nothing for it, but I just felt like I would have to do something in return. I didn't have that capability to do that in return for him. So I actually turned down that opportunity. But that's how generous Double Deuce is he does stuff like that on a very consistent basis for people. So that's a great guy.
He is. Double Deuce. We're kissing your ass right now. It's too bad you're not watching. Maybe some people will tell you.
Those tickets this year.
He's, probably some internet issues. But if those guys invited me, I'd turn it down because I hate the Seahawks. Right?
I would be with good friends. It was a good game. Packers won, I think. So.
Yeah, Ian, he is the best. He is the best. Another great guy. Here, Fuzzy had said empty tables, then do what you do. It's on you, win or lose. And then Dice Grinders, I can never pass up an empty table. Empty tables are a wonderful thing, a wonderful thing. Burl's Girl says, some of the casinos have overstimulation, live loud music, and people yelling over the music to get their bets in. That was a bummer over at Hard Rock in Biloxi. And it can be a bummer. I've been noticing that more and more, that I'm more apt to go to very almost default mellower places. And you can find that, I think it's timing.
Part of that might be skill level. Part of that might be your age is maturing. There's probably several reasons for that, I would guess.
This is a Jobless DJ, and I have a friend that is quite loud. I played at a table by myself next to the table he is playing at. I can hear everything he was saying. That would be Double Deuce. Yeah. And then Drama Slop 45. I like that handle. Vegas tables, usually crowded. Local tribal casinos will have empty tables sometimes. That I don't know. I just know that I do know that certain the places that I play, when the times to go are going to be the least crowded times. Globe. Question for both Tensun and CMJ. If you are shooting on an empty table, what are your preferred positions to shoot from? Go. Grassmaster Journey, you first.
I almost always shoot stick left 1 or stick left 2. When I practice at home here, I'm exactly 9 feet 3 inches away from the end or back wall. So that puts me in perfect position on a 14-foot table to be at stick right one or stick left one. And on a 12-foot table, that puts me at stick left two. But that being said, I don't like shooting on an empty table. I like to have one or two other people there shooting as well, simply because I put so much pressure on myself. I need that mental break in between shooters. Otherwise, I tire myself out very fast. And I'm lucky if I can get 50 rolls in at the table because I'm stressed so much, you know. That's one of the benefits of doing a show for me, is that I have that break in between shots to, you know, chat back and forth with people, and I take some of that stress off me. But as soon as, if you watch my show, as soon as I get the dice, and then I'm extremely focused again, you know, and it's very mentally taxing.
That's interesting because when I was living in Ann Arbor, and playing music there, I had a friend that was a Baroque violinist, not broke. Okay. Not
the style of music. Sure.
Yeah. A Baroque. I mean, that's like such a, I don't know. He's the only Baroque violinist that I've ever known. And not that I know tons of violinists, but he was like that's what he did. Right. And he would take beta blockers because he would get so nervous before his show. Whereas I'm a musician, I would just take alcohol. Right now, I just
probably other things, but
yeah, now I just take. Oh my God, dude! I could tell you a story. I was at St. Andrews Hall. No, I'll tell you a story really quick. I was at St. Andrews Hall. I've probably told this. I was so nervous when the stage, when the curtain went up, and it was one of my first shows in front of it was probably my first show in front of a packed St. Andrews Hall. My legs started shaking uncontrollable. Like it was just like shaking, and I didn't even know what to do because my singer was drunk, my guitar player was on acid, and the drummer was like on speed. I mean, it was just bizarre, dude. But I was so nervous. I remember that, like my leg could not stop shaking. So I think the best thing to do, and it was as a musician for myself, the best thing to combat nerves, which you're always going to be, and it's good to have butterflies, is being so well practiced and prepared that almost counterbalances everything. And that's why when it comes to betting, where I just emphasize just knowing everything so well, and it will just, you just become automatic. And it almost becomes, when I was playing, sometimes I would rely, if my brain suddenly drifted off into something or I saw something, I would rely on just my my automatic movements to get me through a part when my brain disconnected from the song that I was playing at, so that my body could just keep playing it. If that makes any sense, any musician, sometimes
kind of like driving a car and you're like, oh, did I go past that spot already? You know, because you're just so focused on, you know, it just becomes automatic.
I just think being so well prepared and obviously so well practiced, in the middle of like my confidence grows during, you know, as a role progresses. And then my mindset is like, I'm not even thinking about, I'm assuming I'm going to throw a winning number. So
what's the answer to that question? Stick right one, I'm guessing.
I will always start at stick right one, and then I end up moving to stick left one. But every now and then, that's usually if things aren't going well at stick right one, I will try stick left one. And
when you throw from stick right, do you throw with your left hand or do you throw cross-handed?
No, I will, if I'm throwing into the hook, which is more of a natural, my body's more aligned to the hook. It feels good. But
with your right hand?
Yeah. And with my right hand, if I do have to throw, you know, a classic sort of par-esque toss, it's going to be with my elbow bent like this, you know?
Yeah.
It's a little awkward, but it's still easy.
Yeah. What I do, and I'm not as practiced from stick right one, I still can't throw from there, but I'm not as practiced. And where I run into problems is actually my release, because I actually switch hands. I will throw from the right stick right one with my left hand.
Dude, you're ambidextrous. Like Bo Jackson.
I'm not.
Was Bo Jackson like that?
I'm not ambidextrous. But when I did martial arts, I had to learn to fight left and right-handed.
Oh,
So
sweet.
that
Dude.
actually carried over. So the only problem I have shooting left-handed is the mechanics between my fingers releasing. So sometimes when I throw, the dice will fall out of my fingers because I hold on to it so light with my grip. So I will actually shoot from stick right one with my left hand, but I'm more comfortable obviously with my right hand from stick left one.
Now I have a question for you, Crapsmaster Journey. So
Sure.
everything more or less for you has been self-taught. Have you ever taken a class or had any sort of instruction, quote unquote, formally?
No, I have
That's
not.
cool, man. I think you end up developing your own style that way.
Yeah, and that's why I made that comment earlier. I think I was at odds with Ed for a while there because I was inventing things that either A was wrong or B was correct, but not communicated the same way that it has been for how many years, you know? And I have since changed my ways in some aspects, but I've also kept some of those other ways as well, you know, going forward. And that's my role or my job, in my opinion, to carry that off to future people. So,
hey, dude, I think that there's value in figuring it out. And when you're learning stuff, figuring it out yourself or having a go at it yourself. And it might be a little weird, but then going back and having a very like formal approach. This is how you do it. I did that with guitar, with bass guitar, dude. That's how I learned. And then it was only years later when I got like it kind of helps a lot then. But I feel like learning on your own allows you to be more creative in your approach to anything because you're figuring out sort of new pathways and new ways to do it how you would do it. I feel like you can become more creative that way versus when you do learn it the formal way, but there's so much value to learning the fundamentals. Like this is how it should be. And then you can almost unlearn it, apply what you, there's just good to both ways.
Yeah. The other thing too is the other thing for me also is I love teaching, even though I've never had formal training in teaching either, but I'm a teacher at heart. I really am. So that kind of goes with that fake it till you make it philosophy, because I've learned over the years, whether it was through martial arts training or one of my past jobs where I trained people for 8 years on different things, that I actually learned how to do things more by teaching. So that's where the YouTube channel comes in, because I'm putting myself on that spot in front of how many people every day. I mean, it's not uncommon for me to have 30 to 50 people watching me on a show live. And they're looking at me as the expert in this subject, or at least I should be the expert in this subject. So that puts pressure on me to be more particular, to learn things, to break things down to the simple, the KISS system, you know, the keep it simple, stupid, you know, type stuff.
Classic,
you know,
man.
and,
that's a good system.
Yeah, you know. Yeah, and you know, so I mean, as I actually learn more by teaching than I actually do by learning. So when I have to break principles down, methods down, things down, I have to break it down to the simplest step, and that's how I learn the best. It really is.
Odds Fellow says ambidextrous would mean he can toss with his fingers and toes. And then
that's what I was laughing at before.
Big AZ, I have to check my speakers. I thought I heard Joe said he did martial arts. Oh yeah,
marital arts, Big AZ. I'm just kidding.
Oh my God, that's awesome, man. Yeah, Joe is a ninja, and then
I'm actually a 3rd degree black belt, believe it or not.
No way, dude. I would not want to mess with you, man. Plus, you're already. What are you, 6 something?
6 what? 600 pounds? No.
You're like what? Sorry, 6 foot? What? You're a
I'm
big
actually
dude,
about
man.
I'm about 5'10", and I'm about 280 pounds.
Oh man. Yeah, dude, you could crush people. Don't get in a fight with you at the. Thank God you're not a don't better at my table. Oh man.
Yeah.
No, and Big AZ says, and the boys were huge too, wrestlers. Yep.
Yes, my oldest son, 5 years ago, took 6th place in the state at heavyweight. He the only 2 matches he lost was at the state tournament that entire year. So he that was during the COVID years. So he wrestled a limited schedule the COVID year, and he had 90 wins in his wrestling career in high school, which if he would have been wrestling during COVID years, he would have probably been about 120 to 130 wins in his high school career, which is amazing. If you could break that 100 mark as a high school wrestler, you're a pretty damn good wrestler. So, and my younger one was a very good wrestler, but he actually quit his junior year, so he quit a little bit early. So,
are any of your sons following in your Craps footsteps?
No. And in fact, that is part of my journey. Part of my story is when I first started this, this journey, I got ripped on by everybody in my personal life, my kids, my family, people that knew me. I'm divorced. The kid's mom and their family was ripping on me behind my back, about how dumb it is for doing this YouTube thing, how, blah, 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 blah. And I've proved them wrong. I really have. We're up to almost 5,000 subscribers here. I've consistently done it for 6 years, and now it's funny because a lot of these people are coming back to say, hey, good job, way to stick with it. And we're proud of you, even my kids do that, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah. And dude, and listen, man, I started the show for everyone that wasn't there. Like, I was so impressed after, doing the deep dive, really love your attitude in how the stuff that you were talking about, just trying to make other people better, and teaching them a lot of things that people just focus on certain things. So, I mean, hey man, now's your time. Craps Master Journey stepping out. You got blue collar craps, getting some more irons in the fire, I think that's really cool. It's a good job.
Thank you.
Pearl's
now we have to train Alexa to say that I'm the best ice coach out there.
Yeah, just say it enough, when you're walking around in the chat GPT. Thank you, Pearl's girl. See you guys. Got to get some sleep for work tomorrow. Fuzzy sitting back, enjoying a cigar, enjoying another great show. Yeah, glad you liked it, man. T-Bone just tried the 5-4-5-4 set through 15 rolled a lot of 8s and 11s.
Yeah.
Quadridextrous. Yeah, nice. Mad Hatter. So Craps Master Journey. What is then? Let's wrap it up. We're almost at the gone well over 2.5 hours. This is a great show. I have to thank you for this. Was a really fun one just because we've never really talked. I mean, we texted a little, but we never really talked. So again, loving the beard. Loving the facial hair, man. So, and there's a lot that you can. I feel like you're, just one of the good guys in the Craps community. So, I mean, I wish you all the luck in the world. Now, what is in the very near future for you? You've obviously launched. People can check out that link that's in the chat for your free guide. Correct?
Sure.
I think it was a free. Sure. It was a dice set guide. And then obviously they can check out the blue collar craps from there.
Yes.
What else? Did I miss anything?
I've been working for the last year on getting this business, is what I call it, started. So craps is the niche or the avenue that I'm exploring here. And I want to monetize this. I want to have this become my full-time job. So I'm going to continue doing my YouTube live videos every day as I have been, and nothing's going to change. I'm going to continue to freely share information. I'm going to continue to roll it out. I'm going to continue to interact in the chats. Everything's going to remain the same there. I'm going to start putting out videos, education videos, every 2 to 3 weeks. And it's going to focus on betting. It's going to focus on dice shooting. It's going to be focusing on dice setting. It's going to be focusing on the blue collar craps way of doing things. So it's going to be coming out every 2 to 3 weeks. I have other things in the plans coming up. I have probably 10 projects that are in the works right now. That'll take anywhere between 1 to 2 years to roll everything out. So my goal is to become a content creation gold mine, if you will, and make a business out of it. So that way I can actually get out and help more people, be more consistent, and show more dedication than what I already have to this community.
Well, dude, you've been so consistent you know, and that's, I mean, that plays a big, you just keep showing up and doing it. I think that's, man, I wish you nothing but success
Thank you.
in this endeavor, because I mean, shit, dude, you've been doing it for so long without, you know, it's about time. I think it's about time.
Yeah.
And I know that it's very tough on, it's so tough on YouTube from what I understand. Doing it this way, man.
Yeah,
oh my God. I don't know how people like, so anyone that can, you know, that's in this sort of niche that can do it. And the craps community is small. I hope more people get into it. But you know what, going and seeing, there's a lot of new players like there's, I mean, there was, even though there were 4 tables open at, you know, at Aria tonight, 1 table was absolutely packed. It's awesome seeing packed tables. And there are more new players at Aria, right? The other places have more like, yeah, we're craps players, you know? So it's nice to see, dude.
Yeah.
Let's see. Real Pain says, let's get a Wisconsin meetup soon. Good night, everyone. Good night, Real Pain. Odds
Thank you, Real Pain.
Enjoyed listening to you guys. Happy for you, CMJ.
Thank you.
You know, CMJ used to be a big like festival for music.
No,
back in the day.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was the as a college music journal. That was a big festival when you went out to New York to play the CMJ Fest. That was a thing, dude. That's why your initials always, you know, reminded me of that. That was a thing to go and do in New York. And then Huggy Bear at Dice Grinders when's the next Chicago meetup. So hopefully people can, if they don't know Craps Master Journey, send them an email. I can connect with anyone that's in the area. You got to let me you know, obviously let me know if you're ever in Vegas. I'm going to send you some dice.
Yeah, by all means.
Some more dice. Perfect. You probably threw a lot with those.
I have, but I have a couple sleeves that I ordered through the Craps Nation. And then I sporadically bring them out, you know, they're not cheap. So, yeah. So what I do is I have actually 5 sets of dice that I actually rotate. So the next day's show, I'll take a different set of dice, and then I'll put that in the beginning of the order, and I'll just slide everything down. I'll take this one the next day, you know.
Yeah.
You know, or if somebody calls out that my dice are loaded, I'll just take the next day's dice that are ready to go, and I throw them in. I'm
curious from a business perspective and from YouTube, what are you going to be doing then to grow this, to grow your channel then? I mean, do you have a plan? I bet you have a plan.
I have an extreme plan. Something I'm not really comfortable sharing online here. I'd be happy to talk to you offline about it.
For sure. I'm always fascinated with that.
Yeah, this past year has been a behind the scenes growing year for me. And I've hinted towards this since the last Craps for the Cure. I've spent a tremendous amount of time putting together a business plan, putting together a way to run the business going forward, a plan going forward as far as the stuff I'm going to be coming out with, you know. So ultimately, it's going to be a content creation thing. It's going to be digital products. It's going to be, you know, that type of stuff, video, programs, you know. Again, I can't go into a lot of details of what the stuff because I want to make sure I can do it first.
Yeah.
You know,
I think you can definitely do it.
I have it. Yeah, I can, but it's an extremely detailed system. In fact, it's consumed my life to the point where even the family is saying, Joe, knock it off. You need to live a little bit, you know, because it's either work or this.
Oh my God.
That's all I've been doing for almost a year straight. It's either work and this. That's it. You know, I sleep 4 to 5 hours a day normally, and I'm up ready to go again. So,
okay, I want a comment on there, but briefly, Drama Slot 45. I have liked Amazon Dice, fine for practice. I am going to respectfully, completely, 1000% tell you no and disagree with you. Those dice are not, if you want it, listen, if you're just going to practice and never go to a casino, live it up.
Even if you just want to practice your betting and not worry about your dice shooting, that's fine too.
But if you are going to take this to a real casino, you should be using real casino grade dice, because then when you step up and shoot, you will just be that much ahead of the curve. It is a different It's just a different beast. Play with the real stuff. It's almost like for anything that you're doing, use the proper equipment, use the, and be that pro. You got to do it, man. I think if you're going to shoot, if you're not, like, shoot live in a casino. If you're not, then that's great. Then they could just be fine. I noticed a difference when I switched to casino grade dice. Man, it just changes. You just become a confident shooter when you're playing and shooting and practicing with real dice, not the stuff that you get off Amazon. Fuzzy, fake it till you make it. A wise man once said that. X-Man, late to the party. We'll watch the rerun. Craftsmaster Journey Joe is a cool dude. Yes. And then Biloxi Craps, we need to have a craps player poker meetup in Vegas. Since a lot of us transitioned from poker, I would be down with that 1000%. I'm planning on playing a lot more next year. I did not play at all this year. That is definitely one of my plans. I was just telling someone that. Shit, man, what you said about your family, that's why I stopped doing the podcast every week, because it was taking a toll on my life, because you have absolutely no free time. Then my entire weekend was spent editing, and then I couldn't do other stuff that I really wanted to do, like write and do other stuff, let alone, I think it becomes too much. And that's what I realized. It was even taking me away from just playing live. And I like to go play live.
Yeah. And that's one of the nice things about doing the show every day, is it forced me to go live and do everything. But, the biggest thing for me is that I believe so much in my plan and my direction going forward that I'm willing to put that sacrifice in now so I can benefit the rewards later. And rewards meaning that I can replace my full-time income for my job, and I will hopefully have more hours available for my family at that time. And that was the hardest sell for me to the family, is to trust me enough to say, hey, guys, I know what I'm doing. You put the time in now, and I'm encouraging all of you guys to do the same thing. Put the time in now so that way you can reap the rewards later. And that's just my opinion, so that's kind of where I'm coming at from that.
I fully am in your corner. I believe that. And, a lot of people, you're one of the only people that I know. I guess that I've talked the business side of it, or that's mentioned. Yeah. I had a business plan. I went into this with a business plan. Yeah. I've adjusted course, and I'm always adjusting course, but I'm looking at this as such a long game. And I think you have to be in it for the long game base, because it's craps, and it is not, correct. It's not slots. And you're not out doing sort of, I guess the thrill seeking sort of videos. Correct. That would be, to me, for me, I just couldn't live with myself doing that. Like I think being credible or being good and being fundamentally strong is so important for me that I just couldn't do that. It's not where my head's at. I wouldn't feel, I don't know. I have no interest in going, like, how much I could do that with, and I could go Craftsman's Journey. I could go to the casino with the bankroll that I buy in for 15 and 10,000. I think all of these influencers would be like, that's real fucking money getting with real big bets. And that I'm risking. That's not like, it's not like, there's an investor doing that. It's me. It's like, it's nerve wracking. So when people, I sometimes when people are fucking around at a table that I'm at, I've got a lot of money on the table. Correct. When I'm betting. So when don't bettors come up, and when stuff like that happens, it's a lot of money at stake. Sometimes
it's all relative, that's a lot of money for you, and it's a lot of money for most people. I have $100 on the table. That's a lot of money for me. I have $200, $300 on the table because I built it up to that. That's a lot of money for me. That is a good chunk of my weekly paycheck, even though don't play with money you can't afford to lose. I am 100% about that, but still, you don't want to lose it, even if it is extra money. Really,
I don't know if there'd be any craps would exist if people were like abiding by that rule. I think everyone's part of being a craps player. You're playing with a little money that, no one can afford to lose anything.
Not me, really, man. Not me. That's all the money I bring to the casino is either budgeted towards that, or it's excess money that doesn't have a home, because everything that I have is spoken for.
But yeah, but I mean, aren't you? I'm nervous every time I put I put those bets down. I'm nervous until I'm in profit. I am like not necessarily nervous, like I'm shaking, but it is a concern. Like
100%.
My sole goal is to figure out a way to keep this stay above water, so then I can
100%.
like hit that point when you can then leave. And for me, I'm
like that with an $18 6 and 8. I mean, I 100% agree with you with that, really.
And my exit, my stop walk, it can be, sometimes it's just even. If I'm up $100, I'm happy. If I'm up anything, I'm happy. I still think one of the biggest, it's not really discussed. Some of the toughest things to do is just we start negative when we're playing. We are negative at our first bet, and things usually don't, it takes a minute before, we're not always blessed with that fucking great roll to start with. So it is, it's a precarious situation.
Yeah.
Shooting dice.
I love these comments. There's a huge difference in your home table and playing at the casino. You're not wrong, guys, but if you know anything about shooting and you have a consistent amount of practice, you know what those differences are, and you account for them 100% when you go into the casinos.
I think that playing and practicing at home, Brian the broker. Well, I think I know Brian. I might know Brian. I think that the virtue, like this table that I have, is not like, it might be like a Bellagio, or it might be, there's certain, I think practicing at home at your table allows you, it gives you at least a baseline to operate from when you go on, where you can base what you're seeing off of your expectations. Sometimes it'll match, sometimes it won't, but I think that's the value of shooting and practicing and knowing what this set should be doing on this table. You can really plan accordingly. Like I know sometimes the minute I throw, let's say a 5-6-6-5 set with stick right one, if I throw a hard 10 immediately, on one of those first two rolls, I'm like, okay, cool. This is going to set up. My expectations are going to match my practice.
And this is why I won't go to Green Bay anywhere to play, because I know that table is not a table that I like throwing at, that I'm comfortable throwing at.
Yeah.
So that practice at home has led me to know, to have that experience, to have that knowledge to say, no, I'm not going to go and play craps there, because that's not my style.
But Craps Master Journey, he is correct though. Brian the broker, you are correct. There is a huge difference between shooting at your home table versus playing at a casino, because it's just a different set of variables that are involved. But I do think that there's a lot of truth in that. I think it's just, I think that do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, 100%. I do.
Yeah, by virtue of you repeating and practicing, that you have expectations that you can then adjust to or from.
Sure. Now, look, see, craps goes, the pressure differences is still pressure at home. For most people, that is accurate. For me, it is not, because I have a show that I do every single day at 30 to 50 people watch, live. And there's a lot of pressure on me to perform well, and if I don't, trust me, the comments in the chat do dictate or do show that I'm not doing well. And how embarrassing is that to a person who is supposed to be the expert, or the person that's supposed to lead others, to be doing bad? It's very embarrassing for me. It's very, so I always want to do well. So the pressure for me is a lot higher when I'm at home practicing, because everything is on camera, everything is live, everything's broadcast out to whoever wants to watch it. So
I've said this before. That's a very interesting, that's a good comment from Biloxi Craps. When I was rehearsing, when we were playing, we would have a sub drummer come in. A friend of mine, he plays drums for Shakira, for the Smiths. He plays for a lot of bands. He's just a drummer for hire. But when he came in and subbed, when we needed a drummer, something that he said, he's changed how I practiced. And practice for anything is practice. You can apply to a craps table, anything. He's always going for the gold medal. when he's practicing. So shows become, or playing live becomes just like your practice. And I think it has to do with mentality. And I would practice guitar literally standing up like I was on stage, and I would pretend as best as I could that I was on stage. No fuck ups. And the goal is no fuck ups, no mistakes, no mistakes. So you're always, I think mentally you can put yourself into that spot at a casino. I really do think you can. Yeah, it's not the same, and there isn't, but you can put pressure on yourself to come close. It'll help you.
Yeah, I agree.
Joe, what's wrong with the table is that Oneida?
Oneida Bingo Casino is the casino in Green Bay. It's extremely nice casino. It's a decent sized casino for around here. Nothing close to Las Vegas standards, but when you're in there, it's a very Vegas-like atmosphere at times. What's wrong with the table is they have, and I've only heard of one other table like this. They have the plexiglass base on it. So like John from Pro Craps or Casino TV said Seattle had one like this also. So what would happen is underneath the layout, it would light up with the different numbers that we're hitting. So they would punch it in the computer, and that part of the layout would light up. It's actually pretty cool. Okay.
Yeah, that is
but
cool.
What happens is the layout cannot get tight to the surface. So there's a lot of stretch and a lot of play in the layout. So that adds bounce to the dice. And then their back wall, you could barely touch the wall, and it throws the dice halfway to further across the middle of the table. And I refuse to play with a table that has that much bounce to it. Like I said, my home table here is semi-bouncy. So I do have bounce on my table here. So I'm used to that. I'm just not used to that much bounce. And what I find is if I play on a table that has the same bounce as mine or less, I can get those dice to stick and do not what I want, pretty close to what I want on a pretty regular basis. On tables like that, I cannot have any control whatsoever, and I'm not going to put my money up at random chance more than what craps is in my wheelhouse the way it is already. You know, I don't want to make it more random than what it already is. So.
And you know what? I think then the more you practice, just in general, the more you're going to be able to tell immediately what type of table bounce that you've encountered. I keep bringing up Ari just because I've been playing there, but I noticed that there's so many random shooters when I was there waiting for the dice, and it's not a good place for random shooters. I think, you know, I definitely change and adjust my toss for that table surface. And I mean, there's a reason why I was having the best rolls of the night, you know, both of nights last night, the last weekend when I went. And it's probably because I was the only one actually shooting with a purpose, adjusting to how that soft bounce. Again, BRB, man. I'm looking forward to when he comes out to Aria because I like shooting at those tables with him. But he said now, casting, I just left, I don't know, is that near you? Gala Casino?
No, I don't know where that's at.
I don't know where that is. And then, Biloxi, speaking of bounce, the Fremont no longer, has a hard service tables. Yeah, we brought that up earlier.
In our chat, in our group chat,
Yeah. So, Craps Master Journey, what do you say we call it? This was thank you for coming on, man. 3 hours. This was solid, dude.
Yeah, thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the people following along and asking good questions and supporting. And you know, without you guys, we couldn't do this. At least, you know, be able to present it to people without you guys helping to support us. So thank you very much for being there. You guys are my only friends. I've said it so many times. I don't have friends. You guys are my friends. So it's pretty sad, but it's true. But it's true.
That's what happens, man. I just it's why I have so many people in my just scroll craps. That's no, that was in Arizona. Big AZ would know that, or Jaybird would know about that casino casting.
But no,
So yeah,
but thank you for everything you do for the community and the people that you bring to light as well. You know, Coach Bo Parker, Ed Robinson. You know, everybody that comes in your hospitality that I hear about quite often from everybody that comes to Vegas and meets up with you whenever it's possible. Thank you for that as well. And trying, you know, one of the biggest things in this craps community, because it is such a small community, is trying to develop that close knitness, and that's exactly what you're trying to do. And I think that's awesome, because this is a great group of ladies and gentlemen, for the most part here that we have around us all the time.
And I mean, I like playing at tables with people that just respect the game, practice the game, and take it seriously. Those are the people that I think we all want to be at a table with. We all have the same goal in mind. So yeah, I mean, the more players that are like that, the better. Hopefully it grows. And yeah, and so thank you. Yeah, it's always great, man. It's always great meeting new Tom Marco. The DI mindset is a great incentive to play the game. So 10 Ton was lurking this morning. Yeah, I was there. I definitely was listening in to the Craftsmaster journey.
Mad Hatter is one of my regular jecklers. According to him, I'm not allowed to call him by his real name, and he's the one.
I don't even know Mad Hatter's real name. I don't.
It's Mark. I don't. It's Mark, by the way. And he's the only one that can do jokes on my channel. So,
well, privileged. So,
yes,
all right.
I guess so.
All your links, everything.
Yes.
Just go to your YouTube page. I'm assuming you've got everything linked there.
I will have, on my newer videos, I have that stuff linked. Yes.
All right, cool. Craftsmaster Journey, it's been a pleasure. Let me know whenever you want to come back on in the next, when you get more stuff going on, and we'll revisit this. Okay, dude?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And then let me just see this last. 10 Ton, if you slip a hundo, if you get the palms to give us the good table for the final table for the HCS tournament this month. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go check out that tournament and see what's going on with that. I gotta look into that. So Biloxi Craps, you're gonna be there. I don't know much about it, but yeah, that's a good idea. Great show again, Evan Cruz. Looking forward to the next one. Semper Fi and good night. That's right, man. So, all right, Craftsmaster Journey. Listen, I'm going to just remind you one last time.
Go Green Bay. Go Green Bay.
Oh, man. Oh, man, dude. All right. I'll give it to you.
Go.
Shout out to the Packers. All right. First game of the season. All right, dude.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right, man. Talk to you later.
Talk to you later. Yep. Bye-bye.
That was a fantastic show. Craftsmaster Journey, thanks for taking the time. That was a good one. That went by quick. 3 hours. I could have drove all the way. I could have almost gone from, I'd almost be like thinking about Vegas if I was driving from LA right now. Man, you can go from Grand Rapids to Ann Arbor all the way back to Lansing in the amount of time that we were talking. All right, everyone. Thanks a lot for tuning in. Let me give this to, is Fuzzy still there? This is for him. Yeah, might as well rifle through these. Miss Scusi, like and subscribe, Paisan. Slap that like button's ass.
Like and subscribe, bro. This guy double check.
Yeah, that's a good one. Should have played that one more often. That's gonna be it. The next show I think is Shooting for Aces. I think is gonna be on. So that'll be good. Yeah, we got the sad puppies on there. At least got them on there, Fuzzy. So hopefully I'll see you guys. And thanks to all the Patreon subscribers. I appreciate it. A little update on the box set that's coming out. Shirts are in. I'm going to be printing up all the books. Had a couple last minute edits. So we should start shipping those out probably next week, I think, is when they're going to go out. going to be editing the podcast for this Tuesday, this weekend. So though patience is a virtue, they will be going out. Ciao. I got to re-listen to the parts I missed. A hooey ho. Man, Ciao, I miss you, dude. You got to get back here. Huggy Bear, another good convo. Huggy Bear, man, we had, this was an NFC North. Now talking to you with the Lions, this was an NFC North showdown. Dice Grinders, good show, man. Thanks for joining in with the comments. Appreciate it. So yeah, that's it. We will Dice Coach Dials in part 2. I'm going to start editing that, and that will be up on our Casino Tiers podcast with Ed, Dice Coach, this Tuesday. That's it. We will talk to you later. I'm going to bring ETG in. Little Vegas nightlife for you.